It is Monday, March the 14th, 2022. Welcome, everybody, to the Chop Sports Daily with Sturch and Gooch. We are your hosts, Sturch and Gooch. With Dina, we're coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio here in Matawan, New Jersey, reporting and broadcasting and going live from the Cabinet Creation Sports Desk. Gooch, I mean, we at one point, we were like, man, we really need content. And then they said, here.
Bro.
Here you go.
This weekend was absurd with all the bullshit that went down. I mean, I say bullshit, but really, it's just hard to keep up because I was making graphics from Friday when I left here until this morning about 2 minutes before the show.
You came up to me. It was funny because we were doing the rundown. We're getting all the stuff that we want to talk about, right? And then you come up to me and you're like, hey, Brady too, Deshaun Watson, like all this shit.
So many things, man.
It didn't end. It didn't end. And that's a great thing for our show. It's a great thing for the brand. We got a loaded show coming up for you today because we're going to stick with you. I know usually we go an hour. We say, you know what? That's it. We'll call it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to stick with you. It's going to be more of a loaded, relaxed show towards the end where things will be developing as NFL tampering starts at 12 o'clock. We've already seen plenty of stuff in the MLB over the weekend. We'll talk about that. First and foremost, if you want to support Chop Sports, do so by heading over to patreon.com / whatever you call it, Chop Sports. You can do that. Our boy Bailey, who deemed you baby gap.
Oh, my God. I thought I would get rid of that by now.
Sorry, I had to bring it back up, but he became a Patreon member. He goes, how do I support? And I said, boom, here you go. He did that. So thank you to him. So if you want to support the show and you watch the show daily and you're not a member of the Patreon already, do so. It helps us out dramatically.
Shout out to Bailey.
Yeah, shout out to a legend that was made on Friday.
You destroyed me in the comment section on Friday. I appreciate you nonetheless.
Obviously, YouTube, a big thing. We're up to about 749 now on our quest to get to 1,000. I know it's redundant. You hear it every day. Subscribe to the network. We're actually doing a giveaway.
Bro, we're about to hit, we'll hit our 4,000 watch hours either today or tomorrow.
That's a beautiful thing. So we're at one milestone. You got to hit the other one for us to take the next step in the YouTube world. But shout out to the giveaway that we're doing. We're doing one with Chop Sports merchandise, which obviously there's a Chop Sports hoodie up for grabs right now. Subscribe to the network. If you're already subscribed, do us a favor and like the video while you're watching this. Do us a favor, tag somebody else that might jive with us and enjoy the programming because we're coming up with new ways to be innovative and get new listeners and new ears and eyes on our product. But the other giveaway, speaking of, we'll talk about the national basketball tournament, right? But we got to talk about the Nationals wrestling tournament that's about to go down. So we're giving away one Paz hoodie, a Paz t-shirt, also a Bull Sack t-shirt. So those things, all you got to do, once again, subscribe to the network, comment done, let me know, and you're in. So possibly that. But we can't talk about national champions without talking about
our boy Brett, the muscle hamster.
The muscle hamster himself. Congratulations to Brett Callender, Division III national champion over the weekend. I got the text from our boy Mike. He put it on. He told me all about it. I researched it, looked it up. Great job, dude. Congratulations to the muscle hamster himself.
Sure this qualifies him to compete in the Division I NCAAs now. So he gets like one of these at-large bids. I'm not positive,
this
but
year?
I'm sure. Yeah, this year.
So he's got to go right back at it in Detroit?
How wrestling works is Division III, Division II. These guys, it's a little bit different than your typical big school. You know how all the time Division I definitely trumps Division II. In wrestling, the Division I national champ would definitely compete in the NCAAs.
Okay.
He's probably not going to win it, but he'll beat some guys that you wouldn't expect him to beat.
Never know. Never know.
Sure.
There's been crazier things that happen.
Different.
Be sure to check out Dat Chat, which is obviously one of our newer social media platforms. If you have iPhone, Android, any of those variations, be sure to head over to Dat Chat. Brand new app, new social media. You get involved. It's very similar to Facebook groups. If you're in Chop Sports Facebook group right now, some of you watching that way, please be sure to hit the YouTube thing and watch us on YouTube. But definitely that. Before we get into anything else, something I want to dive into later on today when we record the Chop Heads Combat Sports podcast. I do want to, and you would appreciate this as well because it's probably the one wrestling T-shirt that you do own. Prayers to Scott Hall.
Absolutely.
Scott Hall and his family right now. He's on life support, 3 heart attacks over the weekend. Just a terrible turn of events for a really good dude because this guy was at rock bottom.
My favorite wrestler of all time.
Your favorite wrestler of all time. He was at rock bottom. When I say rock bottom, I mean rock bottom. We've all seen the documentaries of him being carried to the ring because he was too, doped up or something was wrong with him. He made a complete turnaround, DDP yoga, all that good shit. He comes back, makes the fight of his life, gets into the WWE Hall of Fame, And now this is just a tragic way to end this all. Kevin Nash, his good longtime friend, was the one to say that the family's getting in place. They're going to take him off of life support. So if that's the case, rest in peace to Scott Hall.
So Mark, feel free to let us know what you got on that if you have an update.
I mean, that's probably the most recent update. Mark's behind. I know he's in Canada, but he's always behind.
Okay,
he's always behind on stuff.
So I do want to I know we're going to try to kind of steer clear of the comments in portions of this show, but I do want to just clear one thing up. I know we're going to get to the NFL free agency, but Michael, right now is the tampering period, so you can't agree to a deal, but you can. So you can't sign the deal.
The tampering period is 3 days long, Monday, Tuesday, and pretty much early Wednesday.
But you can
get things in place.
Now.
Things in place. You can if it's your guy, if it's your free agent, a la Zadarius Smith or a la the other Smith. Those guys we'll get into, but like if it's your guy, you have the first go to re-sign him before he hits the market today. Technically the guys are hitting the market today, so we'll get into all that later on, but again, I just wanted to give a special shout and thoughts and prayers to Scott Hall and that family, and we'll get more into that on the Chop Heads Combat Sports. I'll also talk about my my worldwide debut, ladies and gentlemen. I am now a beloved member of the Mexican community. I don't know how good or bad I did. I'll talk to Conan later.
Welcome.
Well, right. Oh, you're already in it.
I have a cuñado, so I'm allowed to do all the Mexican jokes.
Yeah, so that was a real cool experience. I'll get into that later on as we record that later on. Over the weekend, besides all the stuff we want to get into, I'd be remiss not to bring it up. I don't want to talk about it too long, but Mr. Kevin Durant decided to drop 50 against the New York Knicks, 53 to be exact. And his the thing, the Fournier, like it's just, me and Kyle went at each other. I know how to argue with Kyle. There's some people that don't know how to argue with Kyle yet. Scoop is one of them. He doesn't know like how to not take offense to the things he's saying and just accept the fact that Kyle knows his shit, right? But sometimes you're going to disagree with Kyle, but you're more than welcome to just disagree and leave it at that.
I could usually predict Kyle's stance on most things.
Yeah.
So if we could start taking wagers on what Kyle's opinion is going to be, I would fucking dominate that too.
So
dominate.
So I do want to say that Kyle and me we have a different opinion of the New York Knicks right now. I think it's just a sham. I think it's a very big embarrassment. I think we went from a 4 seed to what Kyle thinks are a playoff bound team. If they just continue to play their play, they're not making the playoffs. It's very upsetting. They have a very young team, and I guess that's something to be excited for. But who the frig wants to come to New York at this point? Like they're always like, oh, it's not a destination. It's not a destination. I know it's in the Garden, but like it's not a destination.
It's a destination for visiting players to completely dominate when they come there. That's basically what it's been a destination for. I mean, I hope the Knicks get better. I know that they have a young team, and there is reason to be optimistic considering where they were over the last decade, maybe even decade and a half.
Right.
So considering all of those factors, yes, the Knicks, there's something to be excited about as a Knicks fan because now you could at least watch basketball again. Whether it be with a pit in your stomach, you're at least interested in watching to see where this team might go. So,
right.
And honestly, for our show purposes, and you're an actual Knicks fan, I hope the Knicks do better.
Yeah.
Just so I could talk shit and it actually matters.
And Steven Doucette coming into destination for free money. I mean, but they haven't. They had, it's not. They gave Randall a deal, pretending that he's going to be the one shining superstar in New York, and he can't get it done either. New York, we here. New York, we gone.
I mean,
it's
Randall's
over,
been playing better.
Listen, his stats. Listen, stats are one thing. Great, he's compiling right now. Because if you're not going to win games, I don't give a shit how many you drop in the Garden or anywhere. Doesn't matter. And before I get any further, by the way, I said Sturch and I said Gooch and I said Dina, and I did not say along for the ride, Rob. Okay, Rob is in the building as well. He was with us on the podcast the other day, Chop Heads Combat Sports. He's in here. He's helping us out as well. He's refreshing the old interwebs to make sure that anything breaks, we got it.
Rob does not have a mic because,
we ran out of time.
We just ran out of time. We do have the equipment, but maybe for the second half of the show when
we can bring him on.
Yeah,
off a little
bit. To scoot over here.
You can scoot over and just kind of.
That's true too. Yeah, you got Dina's mic. Good call, Dina.
Just sit side by side and share a mic.
There you go. Chris Payne saying, welcome to the Group Day Wrestling in Marina, Mexico. Yeah, I know. You talk about that as much as I talk about wrestling hacksaw Jim Duggan. So we're not going to get farther into that. So anyway, the free agency frenzy, man. It's an absolutely nuts. Today, the past weekend, we got NFL news today. We got MLB news today. NCAA selection Sunday happened yesterday. I lost money on NASCAR. That's where I'm at in my gambling world. I don't know why I did what I did, but here I am screaming at the TV in front of my kids and my family about Kevin Harvick. Just get to third. And he was in third forever. And then he finished his fifth. And I'm just like, I can't deal with this anymore. Finished his sixth. What?
I said, should have bet UFC.
Dina crushed it again in the UFC picks over the weekend. I didn't even know there was a card until I saw her picks. I was like, oh, cool. There's UFC. I had no time to do anything. I wanted to check out Sean's band on Saturday after my Mexican debut, but I was gassed. I was like, I can't do it. I gotta go home.
Did you go full on heel mode?
I didn't go heel. No, I actually. They tell you. I had the impression that I had to do.
Could you do me a favor right now and roll your R's for us?
I could do that. And you know what? Like I could have said there's one wrestler, Octagon Jr. In American, that's how you say it. But in Spanish, it's Octagon. And I had to say it like that. There's a guy named Taurus. You know what I mean? I had to do that. I didn't have to do that, but I decided to do that. I was cultured. I was in the culture.
But when you try to do that and you do it wrong, it becomes like
brutal.
Like absolutely brutal. But I was giving Dave the suggestion because honestly, it is a little difficult to kind of enunciate and pronounce these words properly. So I was telling him just go full on Brock Lesnar heel mode and just say it how it says.
Velasquez.
Like Cain Velasquez. Right? Frank Murr.
I could have did that. I decided not to, and I'll find out later on. Conan's supposed to hit me up, which is kind of cool if you say that out loud. You know, like a guy you watched your entire life wrestling, and he's gonna be the one to say that you were suck. I had a pre-production meeting with him on Friday night, and he's like, "So Dave, how versed are you in the lucha?" And I said, "I'm going to be completely honest with you, Conan." I was like, "I have no idea what I'm doing in that regard because I've been broadcasting for years, 6 years as the head guy for WrestlePro, so I know how to call wrestling." I was just like, "I don't know your product." He's like, "So you're not even qualified." So here's a professional legend wrestler telling me you're not qualified. The Mexican fans are going to crush you. I had Rob in my DMs like, "Bro, you gotta kill this. If not, you're dead. Like it's over. Your career is done." And I was like, "Oh my God, the pressure is on." But yeah, so I believe I delivered. We'll see. I want to watch it back, see how it sounds. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I digress. I mean, like Ford Taurus. Yes, Chris, like Ford Taurus. It's Taurus. And that guy, by the way, is a beast. But I say beast, he's 5'8". All the guys out there are so small, but the guy's built like a brick shit house.
Plug.
I'll get into what? Yeah, I'll get more into that as we go. But it is time to finally dive into the things that have been happening. And it started. Well, it didn't start. The late news last night around, I think 9-ish, 10-ish broke that the New York Yankees finally got involved in the MLB offseason. When I say got involved, I mean made a splash trade. The trade comes at a time where I'm just like, all right, you know what? I don't know about this. I knew that they were trying to unload Gary Sanchez for a long time. Like that was one of those things that were like, when are we going to get rid of this guy? He's lazy. He's a bum. He's good for a release the Kraken 1 or 2 times a month. You know, we're like, oh, Gary's back, and it just never is back.
I tried to get behind Sanchez for years on end. My father's been telling me this dude's just lazy, and then I finally gave up on it last year. I'm happy to see him go.
The
He'll
time
probably fucking kill it wherever he went.
He went to Minnesota.
Fucking hit bombs.
Right. He's probably
what Minnesota's doing, but we'll talk about that, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, but so all right. So the shitty part of this trade was trading one of the hearts and souls of this Yankee team. Gio Urshela was our guy last year. You know, we were excited about everything. This dude was laying out and putting his life on the line for a foul ball. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of guy Gio Urshela was. And that's why I feel like trading a piece away like that hurts the franchise in a morale standpoint. I know it's baseball. I know it's a business, and I understand that. But
yeah,
trading away Gio Urshela hurts.
Gio's my guy. I absolutely love Gio. But at the end of the day, I'm not necessarily upset seeing Gio go because I'm not sure they really had a spot for Gio, considering how things are playing out. And I know that there was everybody's wondering why they took on that $50 million. I have a feeling that the Yankees are going to move off of Donaldson before the season starts. I just can't imagine him and Garrett Cole being in the same locker room. First, second, I just don't understand the need at 36 years old, getting another guy that's fading, paying him all that money. Hopefully there's a suitor. I think there would be a suitor for a guy like a Donaldson somewhere else if the Yankees eat most, if not all of that.
They already did.
They are in this trade, but in terms of if they move off of him again, they're going to have to hold on to some of that money.
If the Yankees do
Bad deal, I think, altogether. I do like the shortstop, but
the shortstop,
I'm not sold on Donaldson.
He released a Twitter video today of him shaving. Donaldson already shaved. So now if he gets flipped again, man, is he going to be pissed? Like he shaved for this, and then all of a sudden he gets flipped again. How do you think the dynamic works with Donaldson and Cole. Remember, last year's beef was Donaldson was the one that exposed the sticky stuff. Like he was the one that pretty much ratted on
everybody. And not only that, he used Garrett Cole's name.
Right.
It wasn't like he just said, there's a bunch of pitchers out
there.
Spin
rate, right?
And alluded to the fact that it might be Garrett Cole. He straight up said Garrett Cole. Like he used the name. So I don't know. Garrett Cole seems to be kind of a little. I can't really gauge on what kind of guy Garrett Cole is. He seems to be fired up out on the mound, but when you hear him talk, he sounds like Minnie Mouse. So I don't know if Garrett Cole is going to just kind of be okay with Josh Donaldson. It's a business at the end of the day. So
do you think
if they have to, they will?
Do you think the money they've spent on Cole with the stroke that he has in this team as being their ace, do you think they went up to him and said, look, this is about to happen? No, I don't. Not one bit of you thinks that there was a clearing of sorts of saying, honestly, like, look, we're about to get Donaldson. Are you cool? I
honestly don't. And I honestly really do in my heart of hearts believe that Josh Donaldson will not be on the opening day roster.
Wow. Bold take here on a Monday, folks. So, I mean, listen, it remains to be seen. But again, what the Yankees look like right now, and with all sources and reports are saying, you would think that if the Yankees were to take what they did was they took on that entire contract, right? They said, we're taking it all, right? And if they were to flip him and say, we'll still pay it all, are the Yankees back in your mind as far as saying, like, now they're going to start spending money, stupid money, to get things done? Because if you're taking on a contract of a guy who's not going to play for your team, like that's got to speak volumes for the Yankees as an organization now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bad move. I don't like the deal. I do like the shortstop. He's a gold.
What about Benny Biceps, bro?
Yeah, we got.
You seen that guy, bro? Yoked out of his mind.
Freddie. This dude is yoked, and I'm pretty sure he's a Packer fan because he's from Wisconsin. So
gives a shit.
Typically, when baseball players come from Wisconsin, they are Packers.
Wisconsin from Sheboygan
or Bears fans. So I either love him or I hate him. But no, welcome to New York. Hopefully, he could. Obviously, he'll put in more effort than Gary Sanchez did behind the plate. I'm not sure he's
going to be with Higgy.
To be with his glove. I think he's more of a bat guy.
Did you send me that video where the guy that just like scoops it with his hand?
It was on
the
second stories I posted on Content Chris. By the way,
there you go. Brand new Instagram handle.
Go follow me on Instagram at Content Chris because I can't post on my regular account. I just feel uncomfortable. So now this one, I feel a little more comfortable putting myself out there, and go ahead, follow it.
That's what I did.
I probably will not follow you back though. I'm trying to build it the other way.
Oh, what a scumbag! All right. So basically saying,
full
like,
disclosure.
Sorry, those are the freaks. Guys. Those are the freaks on Twitter, by the way. Dina knows all about that. Right. Dina knows the follow back people. They're like, "What are you doing?
Relentless.
You're not following me back." I'm like, "Well, because your content sucks. So why would I follow? You want to follow me for my personality? Great, but I'm not following you because you followed me." This isn't fucking MySpace, bro. Like, I don't have to put you in my top 8. Like, screw you, dude. I'm not doing it, you psychopath. I'm not doing that. If I don't know you, and half the times the bios are like, looking for a real relationship. Get off of Twitter. You're on the wrong fucking platform, dude.
So wait, you have guys on Twitter following you?
Girls.
And then when you don't follow them back,
oh yeah, like grown men.
Wondering why they're not.
Grown men.
You're not seeking a relationship with them. It's getting uncomfortable.
Basically, grown men out there saying, like, I can't believe you don't follow me back. What a piece of shit. Oh boy. Anyway, so more on the Yankees. Obviously, there is, according to Heyman's tweet about, I want to say 30 minutes ago, there's the Yankees. It's pessimistic on Freeman.
Freeman's not gonna
as much as I wanted Freddie Freeman. I just don't see it happening. And now it's apparently there is an offer on the table to the Oakland A's for Matt Olson, but it doesn't include Volpe, and Volpe is who they want.
But
it's a package.
But does it include Josh Donaldson?
Now it might. Now that remember that offer, apparently, according to the timeline of this whole thing, that offer came before they acquired Josh Donaldson. So now it's a whole nother ballgame. But here's the thing, guys.
But maybe that offer was turned down and they said, look, if you could go get Josh Donaldson and pay all that money, we'll make that deal. What are they going to do with Donaldson? I guess they could just DH him, right? They have Matt Chapman. Well, Matt Chapman's the best fielding third baseman I've ever seen.
Yeah, but if they get rid of Olson, they need a first baseman.
I understand. So Donaldson, I guess you could just
Donaldson at first. You know, you could do that.
I just don't want Donaldson on the Yankees. I'm going to say it. Just
really?
Don't put him on the Yankees. I fucking hate that guy. I've hated him for the last.
I hated Odor when he came in.
How could you hate Odor? I loved Odor. He beat the shit out of Joey Bats. Automatic legend. Are you kidding me? Around the league, his name rings because he got them hands, boy. And you don't mess with Rougned Odor.
Oh man, yeah. Vinny coming in saying Voit is going to be in the deal. Oh, well, that would solve their first base issue if need be. Voigt's in the deal as well, but we'll see, man. Because it remains to be seen. But I'm here to tell you
How about a
also,
center fielder? Because Aaron Hicks is already injured. I'm guaranteeing.
he's got a lat, I'm sure.
Right. But anyway, again, we're going to talk about the Yankees at length.
Oh, wait. Here we go. There is a new Oral Roberts type thing on the board right now. If Scoop finishes above me in fantasy baseball, I will do a first lean Friday of the next NFL season with 6'9" rainbow hair.
Okay.
I love it. That's bold of you, Kyle. And I've seen you deliver before on your boldness. Just check his ass crack for the Oral Roberts tattoo from last week or last year. But in regards to the Yankees, staying with them for a second, listen, Anthony Rizzo is a good first baseman. So if Anthony Rizzo is your first baseman opening day, you can't be mad at that. He's still good.
No, out of everybody, I would mind Olsen, but I'll take Rizzo over Olsen because we don't have to trade anything.
Right. He's
just sign him.
Just sign him back. That's it. So I'm okay with that. I'm more than okay with Rizzo being the opening day first baseman.
And it's crazy how much we're talking about the lineup, right? The Yankees don't have any pitching. They do have pitching, but they need Severino to come back strong. There's a lot of question marks surrounding the Yankees pitching staff.
Well,
and then you flip over to the other side of New York.
Just going to say,
right?
You want to talk about
Mets
pitching.
have arguably the best pitching staff in baseball right now.
So the New York Metropolitans make a splash as well over the weekend. Bring up the details of that trade. Chris Bassett, that's coming from Oakland. We were just talking about the Oakland A's. I don't know if the Oakland A's are in like sell mode right now, but
yeah, their entire staff is on the block.
Yeah,
Montes,
JT Ginn and Adam Oler are coming to Oakland, and the Mets land Chris Bassett. So what does this do for the pitching rotation of the New York Mets? I mean, look, Scherzer, DeGrom, and now Bassett. 1, 2, 3. Now before, just so you know, Kyle came in and said there's a little bit of a breaking news thing saying that DeGrom will not be signing an extension before the season's over. He might opt out. We don't know.
Well,
Let's see how he does.
No, I don't think it's an extension per se, right? He has an opt-out clause to get paid a big. It's the same thing that CC did. It's the same thing that A-Rod did. This is built into contracts. You could almost look when you see a long-term deal and a guy hasn't completely lost it yet. He's going to renegotiate when he can to get those years added to the back end while his value is as high as it is. So, yeah, that's just par for the course. That's not really news to me.
Before this trade, when you just had Scherzer and you just had DeGrom, did you feel like they were the best rotation in baseball just based off the first two before Bassett?
Of course, you could put them in the conversation. I don't know about 1 through 5, but when we're talking
do they catapult?
When we're talking about a playoff series, yes, they had the best because DeGrom and Scherzer in any playoff series, it's all you really need.
Look at the wild card now. It's a three-game set.
You get what I'm saying.
Just think about it,
guys. It's going to be tough to take them out. But now you got Bassett, and that's another staff ace, in my opinion. You could put him on maybe half the teams in baseball, and he's their best pitcher by far.
So I'm saying, like, look at the wild card. When you need a 3-game set, those are your 3. No. Forget it.
I don't, and I hate to say this, but I don't anticipate the Mets being in the wild card. The Mets are a good team right now, and if they could stay healthy, even if they don't, even like they're in a position now, pitching wise, where they could weather some storms. Like they got Taijuan Walker as the 5th guy, was solid last year. I'm pretty sure he was an all-star, right? Who's their 4th? I'm not exactly sure his name, but I know if he's better than Walker, and he was a guy that was probably used as their 3rd. Was he the guy that they ended up getting was it Carrasco?
I don't know. I read it before on Twitter.
I want to say it's Carlos Carrasco as their 4, which is as solid as it gets. You know, the Yankees would be lucky to have a guy like him at their 5th or even their 3rd at this point. It's a little upsetting to me. The Mets are favored over Yankees in Vegas to win the World Series. All these things are just making me uncomfortable. You couple that with the fact that the Yankees make this deal for Josh Donaldson, give him $50 million to hopefully not play for them. Hopefully not. But if he does, it's still a bad trade as far as I see it. And then the Mets land Bassett. You know, why isn't that the deal we're trying to make? If the Yankees are trying to make a trade with Oakland, I don't think it should be for Olsen. I think we should sign Rizzo and make a trade for Montas, one of their pitchers, because the Yankees need pitching.
And maybe they still can.
I'm not the GM, of course, but if I was, I would probably dominate.
The Mets are going to have to score like 4 runs a game to win games. Like that. Like that's how good this pitching staff has the potential of being. And look, everybody could say there's guys out there that I'm looking at breaking news like coming up over my phone, but nothing of note yet. But there's guys out there right now that I lost my train of thought. But
there's guys out there right now pitching Yankees, Joey Gallo, fucking Rizzo.
No.
It's all right. It's all right. The Yankees didn't have a good weekend, even though they did make news by getting a trade done.
Just announced the Brett
final
Gardner
hour of the
resigning, you
weekend,
cowards. I know that's coming next. 30, 45, 50 years old. You know what? The Yankees did bring somebody back. What the fuck is his name now? Now I'm losing my thought. God damn it. Where are my producers at? Where are my
Aaron
people?
Hicks,
Help me.
Should we tap into Dave's brain, guys, and try and figure out what he's thinking right now?
Dude, it's
So
like
they brought somebody
they
back.
brought the speedster
Pizza.
back. LaCastro. They brought LaCastro back. So that could be your Gardner
He's
solve
gonna be our starting center fielder
after Hicks goes
half
down.
the fucking season. Watch.
Other MLB news, obviously Nelson Cruz signed about 6 months prior than I thought he was going to sign. I thought he was going to be an addition for some team down the stretch.
Sure Sager signed with Texas, or
Man, we're on a roll right now, by the way.
I don't know, but I know that set the wheels in motion for the trade with Texas and the Yankees. So I'm confused what Texas is doing, or Minnesota. I think Seager's on Minnesota, maybe. God damn it.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's bad.
the
Josh
Yankees have a good
Donaldson, look at
shortstop
this. Look at
now.
his photo now. I mean, you can't see this now, but I'm looking at. Look at that. You're telling me he's not into it? Look at this. Into it, bro. Third base, stud.
Get him the fuck out of here.
He's not going anywhere now. That photo right there. I know it's a photo, but a photo of Josh Donaldson playing third base right now.
Dave wants to jump his bones.
I want to jump his
What
bones.
the fuck is going on over here, bro?
I knew that was coming.
He's doing like a deep squat, by the way, guys, in this photo. Deep squat. It's making me uncomfortable.
Well,
just fucking sitting next to you at this
Stud.
point.
He's gonna hit 50 home runs in the Bronx. Donaldson's a power hitter because you can't have enough power hitters on the Yankees, right? Wait, that's confirmed, Kyle. Kyle coming in saying the Yankees have signed Brett Gardner 4 years. There's no way.
4 years. Come on. Bro.
There's no fucking way.
Also,
All
you
right.
know what I just realized?
See, you
as I'm
can't do
looking
that,
at-
Kyle.
As I'm looking at
We're
these
live on the
graphics-
air right now,
As I'm
son of
looking
a
at these
bitch.
graphics, there is no Manscaped read in front of me. So we're going to have to wing it on that
I
one.
gave you my copy.
Yeah, but I don't have it here.
It's not even underneath.
Nor
over
did
there?
I even clean up over here.
That's okay, because I think we've done it enough to let you know that the Chop Sports Daily is being brought to you in part by Manscaped.com. Manscaped, 20% off with the code Chop Sports. We're talking about the performance package, ladies and gentlemen. It comes with a whole bunch of stuff. There's millions and millions of
Lawnmower
people.
4.0.
The Weed Whacker, which I used over the weekend for the first time.
The crop and ball preserver and
Reviver?
penis reviver.
There you go. We're reviving that all day. You can get that. Manscaped.com, 20% off, free worldwide shipping. So if you're not here and you're in Canada, I'm sorry to hear that first and foremost, but second and foremost, free shipping to you as well. If you want to go ship it over to the Ukraine and help those people out, shave their balls while things are going down, you can do that too. And that was very, very insensitive of me to say, but
Canceled.
it is what it is.
Canceled.
But yes, manscaped.com, 20% off. Comes with all the crazy stuff. Performance package. We didn't have we had the read, and now the read's
400K LED light. We have
There it is. Payne just said,
request for
talk about the
LED
light.
Yeah, it works on the taint jungle.
the
We all
taint
talked
jungle.
about the
You
taint
know what?
jungle
You know what
at length
phrase
last week?
that made me giggle over the weekend? As I don't know why I've been thinking of.
As you say, giggle,
Mm,
You're not a giggle fan?
giggle.
bro. That's worse than Baby Day.
No,
Fuck
it's
you,
not.
by the way. Yes,
No,
it
it's
absolutely
not.
is. And say, oh, it made
No,
me
it's
giggle.
not.
Like,
What?
are you talking to your daughter? Then it's okay.
No, but I'm just. Oh,
It made me giggle. Is that how you giggled?
What was the
That made me
phrase?
First of all, nothing, and I repeat, nothing will be worse than Baby Day ever. You're forever instoned in the worst moment of your broadcasting life. But I
You
will.
haven't heard the old podcast. Then.
Oh no, I'm not gonna. I refuse to listen back to.
But I
your,
was like, they got Brett Gardner.
oh,
When
the
I just
first
started
one.
naming the Yankees lineup. It was like everyone on this podcast knows. Everyone listening knows that, guys.
Does the code work in Canada site? Sure, go for it.
Manscaped.ca. There is actually a Canadian
Is there?
site. He just wants to make sure that the promo.
Well,
code's
get
still
over
work.
there and do it, Mark. We need you to look your best and feel your best to be aerodynamic with
We do
Manscaped.com.
not need before and after shots, though. We're good. We're gonna take your word on that. All right?
We'll just believe you when we hear that you are manscaped up and part of Chop Sports. And I do want to also, I can't really get too much detail yet because more sponsors are coming in. So if you are interested in advertising with Chop Sports, be sure to slide into the old email, DMs, whatever. Tell me about your small business. Get your business with all of these other businesses because there's a lot. And we turn it over to Dina for Lilac and Sage Boutique. And I know she's got her read. She's very prepared.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lilac and Sage Boutique is a veteran-owned LEO spouse-operated boutique based out of North Carolina. Their goal is to continue their service by providing affordable clothing to other hardworking women. They ship orders all over the world. Be sure to check them out at lilacsageboutique.com and join their mailing list so you don't miss out on any new arrivals. Use the promo code CHOP10 at checkout to receive 10% off your purchase.
LilacSageBoutique.com for all your women's clothing. Dave, why? Why would Chop Sports, a bunch of dudes over here, could promote women's clothing? Well, because we all got significant others out there, ladies and gents. And if you don't, you can send them to Dina. Dina will gladly accept all that stuff.
Thank you,
I have
boys.
an idea going forward for these graphics, just because as I was like looking forward to possibly using that time to readjust and get set, and I was like, I'm still on fucking camera.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to do a full page graphic, cover it up, maybe do some advertising for them with some products.
Sure.
Send me. That's how we're going to do this going forward.
Oh, so you're not on camera the whole time?
Yeah,
I just
so
drank water.
so
What did you do? Did you do anything embarrassing?
No, I was
You like pick your nose,
I
or
was going to hit the weed pen.
could have did that.
Yeah.
And then the show goes off the rails. Dina, a little bit more of a provocative voice coming from Sam Grasso. All right.
I'll work on that, Sam.
Yeah, please. We need you to be better, Dina. Anyway,
Dang.
so today is a very, very big day in the NFL. All right. It started last weekend, or I'm sorry, like Friday, I believe that it came over. One of Dina's beloved favorites,
Yes.
Max Crosby, getting a deal on his, I believe, 3-year or 2-year anniversary of being sober, which is kind of badass. Here's the deal and the details. 4 years, $95 million for Max Crosby, $53 million guaranteed. The Raiders get their edge rusher for the next 4 years at minimum. I believe this is extra money because he was actually signed through, I believe, next year. But this is kind of like an extension.
An extension, but I don't know if they're voiding this year.
I'm not sure.
I think they might have voided this year the contract and then just reset everything.
But what this does for the Raiders, obviously, to me, I think over the course of the last couple of years, pass rush is everything. If you can get to that quarterback, it makes everybody around you better.
Yeah, I mean, that's
and from the
always been
rumors
case.
that I'm hearing, based off of tampering and everything that's about to break at 12 o'clock, from the rumors, the Raiders are in on a lot of people right now. They are in the J.C. Jackson sweepstakes. They're also in the Allen Robinson sweepstakes. I think the Raiders are trying to make a play saying, the AFC West is being dominated right now.
Rumblings about the Raiders with Von Miller as well. That would be a nice addition on the opposite side of Max.
That's a lot. Right? That's a lot of man coming at you. Like there's a lot of strength coming at you with that. I'm telling you right. What? Would you pause on me on that one? Calm down.
Dave's giggling over
Didn't
here.
even need a verbal pause.
The thought of Max
guys
Crosby
are unbelievable.
Von Miller approaching with a lot of man.
What
do you think you're going to do when they get there, Dave? Do you think that they might jump your bones or?
They're going to jump some quarterbacks. And if you're in the AFC West, guess what? You got to deal with Russ. You got to deal with Mahomes, and you got to deal with Herbert. So you need a pass rush, absolutely. So it would not surprise me for them to make a hard push at Von Miller and J.C. Jackson, considering the offenses that these guys are going to have to face. That's a big deal. Speaking of not a big deal, actually, Dave wants to jump Crosby bones so bad. Listen, don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me on the guys, the man crushes that I have on some of these NFL players. Max Crosby is, in fact, one of those guys. Stud Buffin, okay? But over the weekend, it was actually right before, so this is perfect timing. Right before I was about to get ready for my Mexican debut, right? Right before I got ready for that at home, I get the little alert on my phone saying that the Dallas Cowboys have traded away Amari Cooper. Here's the details of the trade, and it's brought to you by Absolute Eyewear. So here's the deal. The Browns are getting Amari Cooper, Dallas's wide receiver 1, and the 2022 6th-round pick for Dallas. The Cowboys get the 2022 Browns 5th-round pick and the 2022 Browns 6th-round pick. Now you're looking at this, and you're like, what? What just happened here with the Dallas Cowboys? Because a lot of people were saying you can at least get a 3. You can maybe even get a back end 2. He's 27 years old. Well, here's the thing. This is where we're at here. Amari Cooper's contract was very large. He was making $20 million a year for 5 years. He had to out after this. They could have outright cut him if they chose to, okay? But they did not. They figured, let's get something for him. And when we say something, this is definitely the definition of saying something, because this isn't a lot.
Yeah, when they said something, I didn't think that it was going to be just a kick in the nuts.
Well,
call it a day. Like they were like, here's Cooper. If you don't mind, could you just kick us right in the nutsack?
Right.
And then we'll just call it even. Because that's what seems to be happening here.
Well,
you got to imagine you giving the benefit of the doubt to the Cowboys that there really wasn't a better offer on the table with a team that they're actually willing to deal Cooper to.
That's
not
where I'm
trading-
at.
If I'm
So-
the Cowboys, I'm not trading Cooper to a contender.
Well,
in the NFC.
that's where I'm at
Not
with
gonna
this.
happen.
I think that, the reports that came out that said like, oh, there's a market for Cooper, right? There's definitely a market for Cooper, and there's multiple teams expressed interest, blah, 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 blah. If one of those teams were the Philadelphia Eagles, or if one of those teams were the Commanders or the Giants or anybody in the NFC, and they're like, we'll give you the third you want for Amari Cooper. And then the Browns come out and say, best we could do is a fifth. The Cowboys are compelled to say, well, how can this trade not burn us down the road? Let's ship them to Cleveland because Cleveland is not relevant to the Dallas Cowboys. Will they be good? Who knows? We don't even know if Baker Mayfield is going to be the quarterback, but like, will they be good and a thorn in the side of the Dallas Cowboys ever? No. So maybe that's why instead of saying you're cut, good luck, and go sign with the Commanders, sign with the Eagles.
Course,
the Cowboys made the right move here.
They weren't. I mean, they made the right move. They made the move that they had to make, but they set themselves up to be in this position with the bad contract to begin with, obviously, right? I don't think that there was Cooper a free agent when they signed him, or did they extend him?
No, it was a trade and an extension.
A trade and extension. See, that was a bad deal.
The extension was 4 years, 5 years, $20 million a year.
Yeah, that's a bad deal.
And he was coming off the dropsies. Like people were writing this guy off like he wasn't going to be anything special.
No, I'm a big Cooper
forward.
fan. I
So
think
am
Amari
I.
Cooper, you start stacking up his numbers over the last 5-7 years against anybody in the league, and they're fucking there. Cooper's numbers are good. He puts up the stats, but just about that contract, man. At the time that he signed it, I guess it made sense for Dallas because they thought that they would be contending. They kind of did contend just a year later. The Dak injury hurt them 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the Cowboys will probably be in a similar situation with Michael Gallup, just not as bad in about 3 years, which we'll get to Michael Gallup
right now.
Bring up the
Matter of fact, right now. So Michael Gallup. So after in lieu of this news of losing Cooper, so technically going into the weekend, the Dallas Cowboys had CeeDee Lamb and Noah Brown listed as the receivers because technically Gallup, Cedric Wilson, those guys are free agents, right? So they get their guy here to be wide receiver, technically wide receiver 1 if we're talking about experience, but more than likely wide receiver 2. Michael Gallup, 5 years, $62.5 million, $27 million guaranteed. Here's the best part of this entire deal. 10 million of the 17, or I'm sorry, 10 of the 27 guaranteed came as a signing bonus. Bro, they have to spread $17 million over 2 years of guarantees, meaning the cap hit this year, $3 million. $3 million for a guy coming off ACL surgery.
It's a very good deal early, and it's a good deal for right now.
And they have an out
it puts
after
him in
2.
It puts him in a position where they can make things happen. But the out after 2, they're probably going to take that out. It's
We'll
more
see.
like a 2-year deal because look
exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Look at when
mind.
CeeDee Lamb becomes a free agent, and then that's who's getting paid.
Right.
That money's going to go to
They
CeeDee.
drafted him 17th overall to be wide receiver 1, not to be, the
I don't know
counter
that
punch.
it's going to pan out that way. They might end up having to make something else happen with a guy on the outside, and he might be the guy that gets the targets. But in terms of how the NFL, you know what I'm talking about. Like CeeDee can't line up on the outside.
Oh, he's not as versed on the outside than he is in the slot.
Maybe
Correct.
he puts on some weight and he can, but right now just CeeDee's a slot guy.
The Cowboys absolutely went nuts with these moves, and the way they manipulated the salary cap. All of a sudden, the Cowboys went from like 20 under to 20 over. A big swing by the Dallas Cowboys now. And now they become players within free agency. And when I say players, I just mean, and I tweeted this out this morning, it's got a big response. I just want them to bring back some of the guys they had already.
Well, no.
Randy Gregory is one of
the
names.
Bobby Wagner thing. Things like that make sense because you might get a guy that's at the back end of his career that wants to go play with a familiar coach, and Dan Quinn being the coordinator. It definitely makes sense. You could see the Dallas Cowboys being involved on those types of deals, but you never know, man. Bobby Wagner might end up getting paid by some team that's just desperate for a star linebacker. We'll see. But right now, I don't know that Dallas is going to be big players in free agency. When you look at their contracts coming up next season and the season after, they have to save some money. They got to be smart.
We'll see. And as far as
unless they really are in win now mode, but trading Cooper
doesn't give you the language that they're in win now mode.
Exactly.
But what they do with that Cooper money could be. So if they bring back a Randy Gregory and then you got Gregory Lawrence, Parsons, and whoever else they add on the defensive side of the ball, we've seen it happen in years past. Where like the cliche and the quote is defense wins championships. If the Dallas Cowboys improve on the defense that they had last year, that defense is going to be one of the top in the league. So it's all a matter of can Dak do it? And for everybody telling me, oh, the Cowboys have put themselves in this position because of the Zeke Elliott contract. Just stop. Just get over it. It's done. Like that's one of the contracts you just can't get out of.
Oh no, and
until next year.
And the Cooper one and the DeMarcus Lawrence.
That's what I'm saying. Like so pick your poison.
And honestly,
they picked one and got rid of it.
Contract, but the Dak contract, as far as I'm seeing, is that they kind of fixed that.
They renegotiated. Well, not renegotiated.
They didn't.
That was in the language already, right? That was in the language already to restructure after year 2. They did that. It's now backloaded, and now you're not, quote, stuck with Dak Prescott. I still believe in the guy.
Let's see what this window looks like. What do you say the window is right now with this current roster?
With this current roster,
2 years?
With the year, yeah, I would say now it's between now and probably like 2024.
And I'm not saying that they won't be good in 3 years. I'm saying that they're going to have to do a lot of different things with that roster.
The problem is I think the Dallas Cowboys are very set in their ways, in their mindset of saying, this NFC East is going to be ours for a couple years. So we're going to get to the dance. When there's 7 teams that get in from the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys right now are one of the top 7 teams in the NFC. So they will get there. It's just a matter of getting over the hump. Yeah. So, and I'm one to say, like, you know, when they got eliminated against the 49ers this year, I was simply distraught, obviously, but like sitting there like, I'm not going to buy into this shit no more. I'm not going to get all amped up. I'm not going to buy any merch. I'm not going to do anything. And here I am sitting here talking to you about March 14th about definitely a playoff team. Definitely have to get over the hump. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, more stuff that is going down as we proceed in today's jam-packed show. The next one is Preston Smith agreeing on an extension.
Look how annoying it is that I didn't put the fucking graphic in there. I spent 3 days.
Oh, that's Devontae Adams. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know who it is.
Is there another Devontae Adams graphic? You might as well just go. Oh.
Ah, look at that. Well, there you go. Leave that one up. So Packers and Preston Smith, as look at Preston Smith looking right up at your Chop Sports logo. I mean, it's just like it's fate, really. So Preston Smith inks a new deal.
Get him on the show.
There you go. Preston Smith inks the new deal with the Packers. Remember, nobody actually freaking knows what the hell Aaron Rodgers did. It's still not out there in the public for whatever reason. Nobody knows exactly how team-friendly he became in this year, but I guess it was team-friendly enough to ink this, but not team-friendly enough to ink Za'Darius, because Za'Darius is gone.
Well, Za'Darius wasn't getting brought
You
back.
said that a week ago.
No way. I'm
2 weeks ago.
surprised they did it when they did, but now understanding the way things work, which is another thing that I'm going to say right now, is we will probably find out the details of the Rodgers contract by Wednesday, because Wednesday is when the teams have to be under the cap. I was saying that they're probably going to wait until after June 1st to cut Za'Darius Smith, because then they would have ate none of the contract. They would have had 0 cap hit, and it would have been $27 million off the books. But given the fact that they are in a bad situation right now, and they need to get under the cap right now in order to get guys like Devontae happy, and then we see Preston Smith agrees to the extension, his cap hit went from 19 mil to about 10. So
there's
these are all
9 right
things
there
that are making sense. Now, the Cowboys and the Packers are, I think, in a very similar situation in terms of we're setting ourselves up for about 3 years down the line to be in a little bit of trouble, but we're in trouble now, right? The difference is that I think the Packers are a little bit closer, and I'm going to say that because obviously we've made it to the NFC title game 2 years in a row, right? But still the same. The window is now shrinking. Obviously, with the Aaron Rodgers situation, you never know how big the window is, because if he retires in 1 year, the window is closed.
Correct.
I do think that the whole, don't even bring up the graphic, Dina, but I do think Devontae Adams' whole not playing under the franchise tag thing, I got about 20 million reasons why he will play under the franchise
18.
tag. I said about, but I keep on reading different reports on that, and I keep on seeing, me and you have had this conversation several times about.
I just shot the text when I saw it this morning.
Everything up until last week was all speculative, and now like that the cap is set. Once they set the cap is when the franchise tag numbers were set as well. So we're not exactly sure. We'll call it 18 million, but 18 million reasons why I think Devontae Adams does play. This is all agent speak. They really can't even do it until after June 1st anyway, right? Because that's when they'll be able to go back over. I think they have to get under the cap first.
That's the rule.
Let me correct that.
That's by rule.
By Wednesday, you might hear Devontae Adams news. You'll hear the Aaron Rodgers news. Now that they're freeing up all this money, they also cut Billy Turner, who, you know, that's not great.
Who?
Offensive lineman, but he's kind of their.
Was he a starter?
He's the utility guy. Everyone that played offensive line for the Packers last year started at least two games. Did you know that? Two. That's crazy because their injury situation. But we do get Bakhtiari back and Elton Jenkins back. So Billy Turner is made expendable. We'll see.
So obviously that
Devontae
starts.
Adams is playing though. We'll guarantee that.
With some Packers news, and obviously going forward, there is other news that broke over the weekend, and we're kind of getting sick and tired of this shit. Welcome back GOAT? Like, are you kidding right now? Like, that is your face when you hear that Tom Brady was gone for 39 days. 39 days until he said, I hate my family. I don't want to be around them anymore, and I need to go back to football.
Did anybody at all really think Tom Brady wasn't coming back?
No.
You know what it was? I don't know.
There's like the jokes write themselves at this point, like Tom Brady.
But homeboy paid $518,000 for his last touchdown pass.
Like Tom Brady retired for 40 days. He gave up football for Lent. Now he's
That's
back.
funny.
Right?
That's funny.
Then there was one that Tom Brady was retired for half the time of the baseball lockout. What else did I see? Tom Brady's a pussy. I saw that.
You got that one too? Okay. With Tom Brady coming back, he announced it last night. By the way, way to give other people their moment. Like, NFL is king. There's no sport that could be happening. I mean, obviously this happened. The NBA's down the stretch, right? And you got the NFL free agency about to hit. Where's people going? Oh, Tom Brady was like, you know what? Now's probably a good time. I'm coming back. Like,
so
what?
Here's my thing. If Tom Brady retired or if there's something like that, then I would say, you know what? Everyone give this guy his moment. But bro, these are grown ass men and it's a business. If something goes down, Tom Brady, you know what? I would actually be the opposite. I would be such a douchebag about it that I would be like, whose day could I fucking ruin? And honestly, if somebody has a day where they make $80 million or they get announced into the tournament, nobody could ruin my day. So if somebody out there is like, Tom Brady really stole my moment, then they need to get slapped. Right? Let's be real about it.
But your headline says one more Super Bowl run. You think this gives the Bucs that Super Bowl run?
I mean,
like chances again?
There's no reason Brady comes back without the expectation of a possible Super Bowl. So yeah, I do. And according to Vegas, right now they are now favored in the NFC to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. So
they went from 20 to 1 to 10 to 1.
100%. Is it 10 to 1?
I believe it's 10 to 1.
Well,
5 to 1 they'll go to the NFC championship game.
I believe it's better than that. I'm not positive because I read the headline that the Bucs are now are immediately favored in Vegas. I can't imagine that people are worse than 10 to 1. You know, like that's the favorite. I would imagine it's probably like 6 to 1.
Shrika Lee coming in. Believe he's retired. He says a 1-day contract to retire a Pat. Actually, I still not. Wait, what? I'll believe he's retired when he all right. So when he signs that 1-day contract with the Patriots, to be a Patriot, we'll know it happened. That never happened. They never had a Tom Brady day. You know what I mean? It wasn't even on the schedule. Kraft was like, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. And then Brady's like, you know what? Hold that thought for a second. I'm going back to win another one.
He's looking around the NFC and thinking a lot of the same things that we were saying last week. Look at the quarterbacks in the NFC right now. You got Aaron Rodgers. You got Stafford, Dak. I'll wait.
Murray, maybe.
But Murray...
I don't
really.
Like Murray.
We're gonna talk about Murray like that yet? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Maybe if we're talking about in the summertime or early fall, but once it gets cold and Murray's got to win big games, I don't believe in him yet.
You know what? There's obviously the GOAT returns. He's back with the Bucs, but there's other things about to happen. We talk about the NFC quarterback situation, and you can't talk about quarterbacks without talking about the fact that Deshaun Watson will be back playing in the NFL next year. He's gonna be somewhere. And whether the Texans make the move or not, which all signs have pointed to that they do, Deshaun Watson is back, and there's a couple guys that are just in the running right now, and it seems to be down to 3, maybe 4 teams from what I've read and gathered. It looks like the Carolina Panthers, the New Orleans Saints, the Seattle Seahawks, who just lost Russell Wilson, and a dark horse team that has popped up on a couple news feeds, that being the Cleveland Browns. I don't know what they would do. Would they just trade away Baker and 3 1s to go get Deshaun Watson?
End up happening with Watson if he went to Cleveland is the exact same thing that he did with the Texans last year. He'd be like, I'm not playing there. He'd be like, you're going to give up all that.
But he's got Amari Cooper now.
I would imagine that with that big ass deal he signed 2 years ago, he's got a full no trade clause in that.
He does, and that's why he gets to choose.
He ain't going to Cleveland, ladies and gentlemen. He might go to Carolina because I think that they're.
Well, here's the thing.
Clemson?
Is that South Carolina is where Clemson is. So is that though? Like, is that you say Carolina, and I say hold on because they're taking calls about Christian McCaffrey. So why would I want to go to Carolina if you're about to trade away your best offensive weapon?
That's precisely why I would want to go to Carolina. I would not want to go to Carolina if I have my best offensive weapon plays 3 games a year and gets the most money on the team. No, thank you. Absolutely would rather go to Carolina without Christian McCaffrey.
Interesting.
I never believed in giving those contracts to running backs. Definitely not a white running back, and definitely not a guy that had 400 carries a year for 4 years in a row.
Oh, and shout out to
Sorry.
Adam Schefter, who broke the news. I know I ride Schefter a lot with his. Wait, we got. Okay, so the defensive edge rusher is about to go to Miami now. So in case you didn't hear that, that looks to be the
4
first
years, 65 mil.
Schefter's on it right now.
So the edge, Zadarius Smith just got added to the edge situation, but
Yeah.
right now they're going to start to drop like flies. I would expect the Von Miller news to be the next
Did
one.
Schefter block me? I'm trying to look for his. Oh man, did it? Adam Schefter.
Did you
No,
talk
never
about
mind.
Pittsburgh yet? Because I was kind of reading.
I did not.
So
Still,
yeah,
Dolphins. I'm just clearing it all up. So because Rob didn't have a mic, Dolphins and Emmanuel Ogbah reached an agreement right now. 4 years, $65 million, including 32 fully guaranteed at signing. Guess what? Just take one guess who his agent is. Just one. Yeah, Drew Rosenhaus. He represents half the goddamn league. This guy is loaded. I can't believe how much money that guy has. But anyway, so that Bengals have notified Drew Rosenhaus that offensive lineman Fred Johnson is also Fred Johnson's being re-signed for $2.4 million. That's nothing. Also, 57 minutes ago, when speaking about Deshaun Watson, according to Schefter, Texans Deshaun Watson is expected to meet in the next 48 hours with the Carolina Panthers and New Orleans Saints, amongst other teams, per league sources. Watson wants to meet with them, and just as they want to meet with, all right, here he goes again.
So basically,
nobody cares extracurriculars
because he wants to get this contract extension. The Texans are allowing him to negotiate with other teams first to see where he wants to go because of the no trade clause. It's not like they're in a situation where they would love to give Deshaun Watson a winning situation, because I'm sure they don't care.
You're an NFL GM when the situation right now with the Panthers, the Saints, the Seahawks, whatever. Are you willing to give up and mortgage your future on Deshaun Watson, meaning multiple first rounders? Multiple. Are you doing that? If you're in the mindset of saying, like, we're like a quarterback away from being really good, Deshaun Watson is very good. I'm not going to say he's not good. Am I in the
mindset for Deshaun Watson? Maybe not, but for a franchise quarterback that doesn't have the issues surrounding him, possibly. I mean, definitely. Yeah, like if I'm sitting here and I'm maybe not Russ, because I think that down the stretch last season and actually all last season, he looked like shit. But I mean, Russ's track record speaks for itself. Even a guy like Russ, yes, you have to kick the tires on those kinds of deals. If you believe you're that player away. Now, out of those teams that you just talked about, I believe that Carolina is possibly in that group where, you look at the rest of their roster, it's constructed pretty well outside of the McCaffrey thing, but they've gotten really good production out of all of the backs that played when McCaffrey was out. Mike Anderson, is that his name? No.
The
guy that went to Atlanta this offseason. I'd say Mike Anderson, but that's like the old.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right? He got a nice deal.
Yeah.
Why the fuck can't we think of anybody's name?
Because it's Monday and there's a zillion names in your head right now.
And then even last year,
what'd you say? Ito Smith? No, he went Mike Smith.
Now, who was the guy that played this year?
Wasn't that the coach? Mike Smith was the coach. I don't think that was. Ito Smith went to the Cowboys for a day and a half.
Nonetheless, the situation looks to be better than people want to give it credit for. Now, McCaffrey takes it to another level, but anybody getting the ball in that situation is going to be good. They have good receivers on the outside. I'm a big fan of Curtis Samuel.
Mike Davis. I think that's what you did say earlier, Chris.
Wait, Curtis Samuel's on the football team now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the Commanders.
Oh, DJ Moore. DJ Moore is who I'm a big fan of.
DJ Moore, So anyway, Bailey's coming in. Morning, Bailey. Carolina and Denver, very similar situations. I think Carolina is the most likely option. Chris Payne chiming in before about the Watson thing. Innocent people don't plead the fifth. Like, that is the truth. I mean, that's Schefter's tweet was so ridiculous. Like, and he had to 40 minutes later had to come back and sorry everybody. I shouldn't have said this the way I said it. And I'm just like, dude, how about just wait for a second? I know you want to be first, Schefter. I know, I get it. But just have a well thought out tweet. Don't say he knew he was innocent the whole time.
This is
why he let the process play out.
He welcomed. He didn't. I haven't heard him fucking speak yet. He hasn't welcomed a goddamn thing.
What, seriously, what is that? He welcomed the investigation.
I'm disrespecting Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland just has been a bad place for quarterbacks. I don't think anybody wants to go play in Cleveland, specifically a quarterback. I'm just not buying it.
Mike Davis, you clowns. All right. Well, you're either late or you Googled it because shut up, AJ. Baby gap disrespect. Oh, that was you. Send Sam Darnold, CM, and 2 firsts to the Texans. That's not enough for me. I don't know. Yeah. What?
That's definitely more likely going to be what it looks like. Sam Darnold will most likely be in a trade if that's it. I don't know if they're going to take on McCaffrey. I'm sorry. I just don't see that happening. And it'll be 2 firsts and maybe 2 seconds, like a lot like the Russ thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not giving up what I gave. See, Deshaun Watson's like 8 years younger than Russ, right? 7 years younger. So
yeah, he is a young buck. I mean, he's just one of those guys that just, he's talented. You just forgot about him because he hasn't played in a year.
The dark horse that nobody's talking about. I mean, I guess people are talking about, but they weren't mentioned in the teams that he's going to meet with is Pittsburgh. We talked about the Flores situation.
Well, now that he's innocent, he doesn't fit the criteria.
Yeah, well.
I did read that somewhere else. That's not my own joke. But yeah, so that's pretty funny.
Rams are keeping their offensive tackle on a 3-year deal based on $40 million and $25 million.
All right, so the Rams are starting to bring it back and run it back. They're bringing on.
That's like another one of these things where it's loaded in the back end, and it's really like a 2-year deal because the Rams are in peril.
Right, like I can't understand.
But when you sign a guy that's already under contract
Mhm.
and he's not coming off the books per se, then it's never the extension. People are like, and we didn't talk about Kirk Cousins, which we will. Very similar situation. Kirk Cousins signs a 1-year deal, gets $35 million, a 1-year extension, $35 million on the back end of the contract. That's basically just saying, hey, look, Kirk, you're a quarterback for this year, most likely next. But right now we need a little bit of help before going into free agency if we want to put something together where we could actually win some football games this year.
And here's some more breaking news 4 minutes ago. Texans are making some moves today, ladies and gentlemen. They re-signed veteran tight end Anthony Auclair.
God.
There is your breaking news for the Texans. But anyway, so it's a big deal because again, we're 2 minutes away from tampering. There's a lot of guys on that free agency list, man. There's a lot of dudes, and it's incredible to see the movement that's gonna happen within the next couple minutes. It's gonna be a fast and frenzy countdown. So if you're with us and you've been with us, normally about right now, we've been wrapping up the show and saying goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Good luck seeing all the reports and all this other shit
coming on.
I did not talk to Scoop, so we're gonna nix that. Because we just can't. We didn't get the headphones right. We didn't get anything right.
Fucking terrified now.
What? For what? What do you mean terrified about what?
The bracket.
I mean, we'll talk about it in a second. But anyway, there will be stuff to talk about as things happen. But we do have to touch on the fact that Rutgers is going dancing, sorta. I look at this. I look at this right now, that them getting in this way, and they have to play at Notre Dame, which, by the way, me, Scoop, and Vinny have already agreed to rage that night and more than likely go to Rutgers and watch the game somehow. So that might be a thing. I'm not sure. And we made a joke saying, like, we're making all these plans, like, yeah, we're going to go here. We're going to go there. We're going to stuff your face and go nuts.
Nobody's
and then all of a
doing
sudden,
shit.
Well, I think it was Vinny who was like, yeah, we're just going to end up at Miller's. It's like, yeah, probably. But yeah, so the Rutgers Scoop, we were going to bring you on around nowish, but we don't have the headphones set up or anything like that. So we'll wait till later to set that up. Maybe you come on the Chop Heads podcast later on.
Come on Chop Heads to talk about the NCAA tournament.
He asked earlier if he could come in for the Chop Heads. So I'm
yeah,
assuming
so
he'll
maybe
be here.
we'll see.
Well, yeah, whatever. At least I know where I can get gas for $1.39 Taco Bell. Vinny coming in, Brian Hoyer back in New England in case, the whole Mac Jones thing don't play out. They have their guy. But Rutgers gets in. They play Notre Dame this week, a Wednesday night. I believe it's a later tip, 9:10 at night. Great numbers, great combo. That's my birthday.
Me on how these playing games aren't automatically the 16 seed.
I wish I
somebody in the comment section, Kyle.
I asked that in the chat yesterday.
Anybody got something for me?
It doesn't make any sense to me because if you have to play in and earn your spot, you should be earning the last spot in the bracket, not 11. Like, how does that? It doesn't.
So I'm looking at the 12 seed, the 13 seed, and we're like, no. Like, I'm seated higher than so the 11, the play-in for the 11, that's the 11 and the 12 seed as far as I see it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
All right. So actually, you know what? Do me a favor. 13 lower conferences are for the lower conference. That's bullshit. I mean, again, there's reason Rutgers and Notre Dame are better than Georgia Georgia State.
I understand that you automatically.
Then why aren't you automatically in?
Automatic bids don't need to be automatic seedings, right?
I guess, but
fuck. I guess that's the answer, and I just don't want to accept it.
Right.
Like, there's my answer. I just don't like the answer.
But yeah, so Rutgers gets in. They got themselves a game. Obviously, there's a couple obvious things that happened. Gonzaga was one of the 1 seeds that we knew about. So again, there's a lot to go into. Hopefully, maybe the Cross Court Cast can adjust their schedule and record and drop an episode on the Chop Sports Podcast Network before Wednesday, or possibly leading into Wednesday. Maybe even wait till Thursday normal, and then your tournament actually starts on Friday. So maybe you got that. But it says Georgia State is an automatic bid because they won their conference.
Yeah, that's how it all works. Obviously, if you look at how many people have to be automatic bids, but I just don't understand the reasoning behind the seeding, because Selection Sunday, like at that point, all the automatic bids are in, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the automatic qualifiers are in. Just put them a higher seed. Like, do you have, that's it. Like, their automatic qualifier, they're in. They're a higher seed than the team that is on the bubble. That's how I would work it. But when you start factoring in other things, I guess it makes sense because Rutgers does have a better resume, so they would be better than the automatic qualifier.
So
it
ready
still kind of makes no sense to me.
So a little news here from Schefter. Tom Brady's loss will be Joe Burrow's gain. Ladies and gentlemen, Bucs free agent guard Alex Kappa signs a 4-year, $40 million deal with the Bengals.
Yeah.
So Tom Brady's offensive line is depleted.
The Joe Burrow effect is starting to take hold of the league right now. But I would imagine that the Tom Brady effect is going to have some lingering things take place as well. We could expect Gronk back in Tampa. So any team, Buffalo, like Gronk wanted to go play with Josh Allen. Not anymore.
Yeah, I was just going to say, now he's not going anywhere. Bengals, all right, so there's the NFL talk. There's a lot of different sources out there. The tampering period, ladies and gentlemen, has begun. We are open. It is time for the frenzy to begin, and we want to thank you guys for joining us. You could stick with us for as long as you want. You could share this stream out to people that want the coverage right now. Like the video if you're watching us. This is Chop Sports Daily Overtime because we're literally overtime here. The podcast obviously will drop a little later today because we're going to go and stay with this. But yeah, I mean, we're waiting for things to happen. As they happen, we'll be right here for it, and we appreciate you guys joining us for that. But let's see. According to 17 minutes ago, Packers cornerback Jair Alexander could become the highest paid cornerback in the NFL with his next deal, and that's according to Matt Schneidman.
Yeah,
is he a writer
bring
for
it on, baby? Let's get our boy paid. I also saw that they're going to bring Rasul Douglas back.
Well, right now, Billy Turner and Zadarius Smith were the ones released officially. Yeah, it looks like
any news on Devondre Campbell? That dude's
nothing yet here on that front. As I just like hold this phone up in front of my face. I feel like Kyle now. So yeah, so things are happening. We already talked about Deshaun Watson meeting with a couple guys, a couple teams within the next 48 hours to decide where he wants to go. What the compensation is going to be for Deshaun Watson more than likely will be multiple ones, and that will change a franchise. One, you're getting your quarterback, but two, you're losing some of your future unless you do something else. Jay goes live. Jay goes live. How do you like that? Jay goes live is I don't know who that is right off the rip. I probably should know who it is, but I don't. Gotta say this first show I've watched start to finish. Very impressed. Thank you very much for tuning in. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We appreciate you tuning in. But now we are sticking with you guys. Wants Smith in Seattle now. I mean, of course. Well, why wouldn't you want Zadarius Smith? I want Zadarius Smith in Dallas. I think Zadarius Smith is very good at football, and I think he's a beast. Is he the one that like pulled up his shirt and like revealed something underneath? Yeah, right. That's the same guy, right?
Why are you going? That's what you know about?
Because he had a message underneath.
So Dave's like,
oh God. Is he the Packers guy that took his shirt off?
He's not talking about like how he gets to the quarterback. He's talking about how he pulls his shirt up.
I'm an asshole. That's the golf club, TGC. Oh. I'm a piece of shit. That's my fault. By the way, big things coming with those guys. The golf club are awesome dudes, and I told my brother about it. He's excited as he recovers from ACL. He's moving around a little better. He's chasing his son around a little better. That was yesterday. Confirmed. My sources have confirmed he's doing good. So my brother wants to play some golf.
Anybody in the comments section that wants to chime in on any teams that got left out of the tournament that should have been left in, and maybe some teams that like Michigan that got an easy bid, but Indiana had to scratch and claw.
According to Josina Anderson, Marquez Valdez-Scantling drawing interest from the Bears, the Niners, the Colts, the Texans, and the Raiders. Big market for
Valdez-Scantling.
Valdez-Scantling.
He's going to get Gallup money, watch, which is absurd. He's going to get $10 million a year. Maybe a little less years, but he's going to get
Did you see Christian Kirk won 15? What is that?
First of all, if I'm one of these guys, the agents, I'm saying the exact same thing. When you start to see some of these deals get dished out, Why not me? Why not me? Right? That's what I'm saying. And when you go in there and you're barking 15 million, you might not get 15 million, but it's going to be a lot harder to tell you 10, right?
Appreciate
Lot
you.
harder to tell you 10.
Appreciate you, Bailey, coming out there saying, go live, tampering period, bring it on. What's up? What do we got? Oh, that's right. Dina has work. She actually has
It's a good
responsibilities.
thing we don't actually have to bring up.
It's
any more
a
graphics anymore.
shift change here at
But
Chop.
you'll get the mic now, Rob. So welcome.
Hey, Dina, as she walks across the camera there. Say, you know what? No, time out. Say hello to everybody. Some people don't know what the fuck Dina looks like, so say hello. There she is. Hello, there's Dina. Thank you so much for your help, as always. So Dina's out. Bye-bye. Thank you for your help. Let's see. Off. Oh, my God. Is this accurate? This is some baseball news here, folks. Fernando Tatis fractured his wrist and will sideline him several months from
That
Bob
is
Nightingale.
Terrible.
I
That
hope.
is
Wow.
terrible. So this is why
You don't
this
do
is why
drafts
you don't
early.
do fantasy drafts early. This
Yeah.
is why you don't. I mean,
Wow.
Tatis is a stud too.
Wow.
But the problem with Tatis is that he can't stay on the field.
And that's
A broken wrist has to be a freak thing, though. Unless it was like a check swing broken wrist, then you have some cause for concern because
I mean,
just like
on
a
the freaking first
bit
day of
brittle
camp,
bone.
dude. That's
But
brutal,
if you get
man.
hit with a pitch or
That is
something crazy
brutal.
and you just fall weird, there's nothing you could do about that.
Apparently,
You
the
get
Denver
pissed.
Broncos are in on Randy Gregory. So that could be a thing. The Cowboys have inside track here, but waiting has now put them against the Broncos and other competition legal tampering rights. Denver is expected to make him an offer. So the Denver Broncos are trying to get Randy Gregory away from the Cowboys. And this is what happens when you don't sign your own before the tampering period. Now you hit the market
so
and things like
upset
this
about
happen.
the fucking Tatis news, man.
That
I'm
is some
just-
brutal news.
It
That is
changes the landscape. And honestly, guess what? I'll take you in the 10th round. What round does Tatis go now? Is a late
Would you
season
be as
call-up?
ballsy to get Tatis in the first round?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So
First of all,
he'll
I picked-
fall to
first
me
of all, I picked
at
first.
9, and I'll just take Tatis.
Dave, you might as well just quit.
Okay.
If you're going to take Tatis, he's out for 3 months.
All right.
So you're not going to get your number one pick out of the gate for 3 months.
Don't worry about my strategy, bro. Speaking of fantasy baseball strategy, ladies and gentlemen, we will go over some of that stuff as Gooch prepares
Yeah,
for
I'm
fantasy,
doing it.
for
I'm
fantasy
prepping.
stuff.
I'm prepping.
That's
part
brutal,
of my
man.
weekend
Oh my God.
workload.
It's a very upsetting situation for Fernando Tatis. That's brutal. I mean,
So wait, Pete Alonso was in a car accident. When you say brutal car accident,
wait, is that a thing?
You're lending to the point that he may have gotten seriously injured, but he did not.
Do more things, NFL. People are just going nuts.
Well, I'll tell you-
Surgery probable for Fernando Tatis.
So
Okay,
if
maybe I won't
this
take him at
is-
the 9th.
If Pete Alonso was in fact in a terrible car accident and nobody heard about it until Vinny's telling us now, that just goes to show you how crazy this weekend of sports was, because I feel like that's pretty fucking big news.
Yeah.
If his car flipped over and he got, I mean, I guess we'll find
According to NFL Talk right now, Ravens center Bradley Bozeman is drawing interest from the Jets, the Giants, the Bengals, and the Panthers. If the Bengals land 2 offensive linemen within like 10 minutes,
Well, the
they
first
are
offensive
all in on
lineman-
Joey
The
B,
first
bro.
offensive lineman was already on their team.
Well, look how many sacks they suffered all the postseason.
In the
Oh
postseason.
my
It's what
God!
killed
And
them.
still weathered that storm and won games. So imagine they don't have to do that and deal with that
And
shit.
Cincinnati's got a ton of money to spend. So just look for them to be highly active. And now they have the guy in Joe Burrow that people are going to want to go play for.
Well, the accident can be bad. Does he? Like that's insane for me not to know anything about that or that not to make headlines. I mean, that's kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you, for all these reporters out there. Let's see. Interest strategy as negotiating period begins. Cowboys are trying to get their boys back, but now this is what happens, folks. If you don't get your guys back before this tampering period, they are fair game to go anywhere they want. And now we're gonna have to find out.
Well, Kyle, the Bengals did sign 3 offensive linemen last offseason, and I'd say what it did was it gave them the freedom to draft Jamar Chase in the first round.
Somebody tweeted that. This is actually a funny tweet. The Raiders being in on Marquez Vantling. What is it? Fuck his name?
Scantling.
Is not
That's
news.
not the receiver.
He goes,
that-
it's not news. It's tradition. Like they're always in on a receiver every offseason are the Raiders. That's hilarious.
and
actually.
all the Raiders fans have been talking crazy shit for the last 2 years about how they're going to sign our receiver. We're going to sign your boy. I bet they weren't talking about Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Nobody?
So
Anybody?
no, but
It's hard to do a show when you're not doing the show anymore.
what do you mean? I'm doing the show.
No, I know, but you're like, I'll
I'm
talk
there's
to you.
so much shit
It's
breaking
happened to
right
me-
now.
It's happened 4 times on this episode where like you'll say your piece, right?
Mhm.
And then you'll pick up your phone and read, and I'll like comment back, and I'll be like, Dave,
he's gone.
you fucking still here, or you know?
There's breaking news left and right, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to apologize for that. I'm not one to ignore.
No, I don't
anybody.
give a fuck. It's a loaded show, and honestly,
Dina's tuning in
It
from
gave-
her
it
office,
gives me
by the
good
way. She
content.
went to the office and logged on. So thank you, Dina, for being make sure you like the video. He said he's going to be on the field tomorrow, Alonzo, according to Chris Payne coming in. Alonzo's car flipped 3 times, and he'll be back on the field tomorrow. What a stud. What an absolute stud. Like, I've gotten in an accident before where I saw the guy flip 4 times.
Look, he's not hurt. He's lucky. We're not going to call him a stud because he didn't get injured in a car accident.
Okay, fine. He's lucky. Either
Lucky.
way.
And I'm not saying that bad. Like, I hope that doesn't get taken misconstrued in a bad way, but
Here we go.
You know, either
we
you
got
get
some
hurt or
action
you
here.
don't.
Adam Schefter reporting Miami Dolphins running back Chase Edmonds reached an agreement on a 2-year, $12.6 million deal.
I feel like
Includes
that's such a Dolphins deal.
6.1 guaranteed per Drew Rosenhaus.
So wait-
Rosenhaus getting paid
So
again.
wait, they have now the exact same back 4 times over. Miles Gaskin, and
Chase Edmonds.
Same fucking player.
So, but that, you know what though? You want to talk about fantasy value? James Conner, he's the only guy out there right now until they do something else.
We cannot look at running back and backfield situations now because drafts are going to happen, and any single.
As I say that, James Conner and the Cardinals are closing in on an extension.
So look, but James Conner's value is contingent on him having somebody else there to do a lot of the lifting as well, because he's a touchdown machine. But James Conner has been a guy that struggled to stay healthy throughout the last couple seasons as well. And in the NFL, when you have the mileage, you need help. It's just simply put. So I think James Conner he would benefit from them drafting or bringing in another.
So he
guy
needs
to
a,
be
he
the
needs a
same
second
exact
guy, is
thing.
what you're saying.
Like, why fix what's not broke in terms of production for James Conner? He can't get the ball 300 times in a season.
No, he's not that guy. So Rappaport following up with that with the Chase Edmonds news. Dolphins, Chase Edmonds, yes. Yeah. So a lot of movement so far within the first 13 minutes of the tampering period. But yeah, Chase Edmonds on the move, going to Miami. So a big move for the Dolphins, I think. I mean, you obviously say he's very similar to Gaskins. Chase Edmonds showed some bursts last year that he could be an RB1 for sure. In this new system now. This is Mike McDaniel. Is Mike McDaniel? Mike McDaniel?
I don't think that Mike
The guy from- right? Is that-
McDaniels.
McDaniel. I know it.
McDaniel.
No, it's not plural.
Either way, if you look at typically any running back that's been in the Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan, all the Shanahans, the McVay, it's been committee largely. 49ers, they've had 10 different running backs that have been solid for the last couple of years. Elijah Mitchell, you could go on and on.
Right.
Same thing with Shanahan, all the way dating back to the Denver days. After Terrell Davis, it was like Olandis Gary, Mike Anderson. Second time we bring Mike Anderson.
Wow,
up on
Mike.
this
It's
episode.
now officially the Mike
First time
Anderson
was
show.
on accident. This time was on purpose. But yeah, you just look at typically what they've done in that kind of system, the zone blocking scheme. A lot of guys are going to get the ball. They put a bunch of guys in the position where they think they will fit their system, and it's interchangeable parts. And that's what I expect to see with Miami. I don't know that any one guy is going to be the bell cow back out of those two.
Titans are re-signing Jeff Swain, former Cowboy. He's the tight end. He was not bad. That's decent for them. And he's paired up with Anthony Firschker. So that's
just two bad tight ends
Just-
getting it done out in the NFL. Yeah.
I did laugh at Scoops thing. Another Dolphins running back I won't draft, he said. That was pretty funny.
Two shitty tight ends trying to kick rocks around, and I don't even know what I'm saying.
Reports say from Dove, was it Kleiman? Yeah, Kleiman. Dove Kleiman, who said that they were in the sweepstakes for playoff Lenny. You know, Leonard Fournette was going to go to Miami, apparently, but
Yeah,
this is
now-
their
but
their
now he's-
compensation.
But
I
now
guess.
he's back in Tampa because Brady just
Well, he hasn't yet. They have to do that.
Yeah, well, maybe it's maybe he's going to get himself paid a little bit, but I still a guy like Fournette, same deal. I don't think he's going to warrant. I don't think he's going to get a big deal in the offseason because there's teams like there's just too many running backs that come up in the draft that it's just free. You get these running backs in the 4th and 5th round and
Right.
it's free. Why are you going to give Leonard Fournette, a guy that's got the mileage and is honestly proven that he really, outside of this past season, he hasn't been, a solid number 1 back. Maybe that 1 year on the Jaguars. There you go. There you got your Jaguars reference, Scoop.
There you go. There's always one. Oh boy. All right. So other things going down right now. Nothing on the old transaction wire as we catch up to you. And I want to thank you guys for joining us here on Chop Sports Daily. This is a little bonus coverage right now because we decided we wanted to do that instead of always missing that 12 o'clock big story that always breaks. So thank you guys for tuning in and sticking with us as things will happen over time. There's just, there's obviously I follow a lot of Cowboys content, so there's a lot of like, why aren't they doing this? Oh boy. Okay, so ready for this? Here's the big one. Nope, never mind. Is this Adam Schefter? Oh, so no. See, so Tone Diggs came in and said, I will not get got today, meaning that's the problem. So when you're scrolling Twitter, there's a lot of fake accounts. There was a fake account that put out a report about the Browns and Allen Robinson. So that's not a real report.
Make a fake report. Why would you take the most regular ass receiver? And I like Allen Robinson, but he's a very just, it's like as standard as it gets. And then the Browns. Like, is there anybody outside Cleveland that actually gives a shit about that?
That's exactly.
You got him, guys. You got him.
Weren't they talking about Allen Robinson last year being a big free agent?
Right.
Weren't they talking about Allen Robinson last year being a big free agent?
He signed like a 1 year prove it, or I don't know. He did re-up 1 year with the Bears, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was a free agent, came back 1 year and just failed.
Kind of like what Juju did, right?
Yeah.
Juju's also a name to watch for today.
Seeing that too.
So we'll see where he lands. I
think Juju is a possible Packer.
I still, it's funny. We're all football all day today. This Fernando Tatis stuff got me shook, man. And that's really, really unfortunate for the Padres. Let's see now. A couple easy signings for the Lions. They just bring back a couple of their own. Nobody of note. But yeah, I mean, it's just been.
So we're waiting for the NFL tampering period to actually be underway.
I mean, it is underway.
I guess it started happening earlier. Like it was like 11:50 and all the news started breaking. I was like, no, we need 10 more minutes.
Yeah, right. Please stop breaking news. Thanks. We appreciate you.
12.
So yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot going on. James Conner, it's a 3-year deal, according to Jay Glazer. 3-year deal for James Conner to stay in Arizona as RB1 over there. So very cool for that. We are now, let's be honest with you. We want to thank you guys for joining us, as now we are head to head with one of my favorite guys in the world, Pat McAfee. He's live right now. What we got?
The Browns have just released Jarvis Landry.
Whoa, really? Who's the source?
Adam Schefter, baby.
Really, Adam Schefter? Or
it's really Adam Schefter. It's from Bleacher Report, so.
It's on Bleacher Report.
Yes.
Okay. So Jarvis Juice Landry is now on the loose again. Wow. I mean, and that's the problem with guys like Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper will succeed in an offense if he's not doubled up, if he's not the main focal point. And now you lose Jarvis Landry, as that was kind of like the writing was on the wall with that one, I think. But yeah, overall, I think that Jarvis Landry is a good wide receiver. He will be a good plug and play. Can you imagine if now he just goes and lands in Dallas or something like that? So it's literally like a swap.
I was thinking Green Bay.
Jarvis Landry would be great in Green Bay. They need another guy.
Yeah, no. We need one of these guys to step up, because I don't know what's happening. Any word on Cobb? There's no restructure on the fucking Cobb deal. He's getting paid like $30 million this year.
Nothing out of that.
Come on. I love you, Randall Cobb, but you got to fix this. You got to get our boy Devontae some money. Let's do something.
Scoop says he's going to follow his fellow friend, Odell, to the Rams. We'll see about that. I doubt that. I doubt they have that kind of money. I
mean,
they don't. They don't have that kind of money.
Technically not on the Rams right now. So if they want to just go wherever the fuck they want, they could team up. But who's going to sign a combination of two receivers? I'm not.
It just didn't work out in Cleveland, so
it's
going to make you think it's going to work out anywhere else. It's just
kind of crazy that this is coming in and saying the Browns not only released Jarvis Landry, he had permission to seek trade. So maybe nobody actually wanted him. I mean, maybe not at that number.
Well, you have permission. It's just very similar what I talked about when we were talking about the Amari Cooper trade a couple weeks back, and you were like saying what you would take for him. And I'm like, there's just no way you're going to get that because of the leverage. Teams know that, right? So I'm not giving up jack shit for anybody that I know is going to be cut in a week or in 3 days in this case, right? So Jarvis Landry, I think there will be heavy interest in Jarvis Landry.
Do you think Jarvis Landry gets
not for a pick?
But do you now look at the Jarvis Landry market price? Do you think he gets Gallup money?
No, I think.
And I said Gallup money, meaning like a 5-year, 60, like anywhere in the range from 10 to 12 a year.
If you look at Jarvis Landry's numbers throughout his career, he is a pretty solid guy. Go ahead. You got something?
Yeah. James Conner agreed to a 3-year extension.
Yeah, we got that before. We got you. Yeah,
that's what happens when you're focused on reading updates and shit, and like he's not actually hearing all of the things that we're getting as well.
No, but that's good.
Keep it going though.
Yeah, definitely.
But now I don't remember what I was saying.
Chris Payne coming up here. Seems like people love playing with Baker Mayfield.
Jarvis Landry, the Jarvis Landry situation. he's a receiver that could catch the ball. He could do certain things out of the slot, but he's not going to warrant big money because he's getting there in age. I would imagine he's got to be approaching 30. If he's not 30, wrong side of 30 right now. So you're not going to give the guy, unless you're the Texans, because they gave Randall Cobb $30 million for 3 years, which you'll never see again. But maybe I'm not doing it. But Jarvis Landry looks to me to be like a very similar situation to what Odell got from the Rams last year, where it's going to be a very team-friendly deal, heavy in incentives. If he ends up playing a lot and performing, then he'll get paid some decent money. But there's no way I'm giving Jarvis Landry $10 million a year.
He's only 29.
He's right. He's right there.
So
he's right there at the age of 30 almost. So Jarvis Landry is now the newest member of the free agent market. The receivers are relatively, I don't know if I say deep. We've talked about Allen Robinson. We've talked about Vanta Scantling. We've talked about,
what was
Odell technically is a free agent.
What was supposed to be one of the deepest receiver classes in free agency in a while turned out to be nothing. But that always happens. That's why I hate all these premature articles about talking about free agent receivers. And then you see Godwin gets tagged, Adams gets tagged. Who's the other guy that just signed an extension?
With
Somebody
what team?
else. I don't know, man. There's another receiver that was supposed to be on the market and now isn't.
Oh, Mike Williams.
Massive
deal for Mike Williams.
Perfect. And even a guy like
the Chargers are all
Michael
in.
Thomas, who you expected to get cut for sure after June 1st, isn't. He's extended and now he's back in New Orleans, which I still think that they'd be willing to move off of him in a trade.
All right. So as we let more news trickle in, Jarvis Landry being the newest duo. Like, it's so funny. Freezing cold takes. But I love freezing cold takes. They put out a graphic saying Brown's new wide receiver duo, and it's Cooper and Landry. So that lasted literally 2 days. So shout out to that fantasy. So here we go. So according to Rappaport, he's got some sources saying that the Bills and the Chiefs are two teams to watch on the Jarvis Landry sweepstakes. So if you add more firepower to the Bills, man, God bless them. I mean, those guys, the offense there is young. I still think, I know Singletary played well down the stretch and into the playoffs. I understand that, but I think they're just a running back away from being probably the best offense in football. Because when you have Josh Allen and you have Stephon Diggs, and then if you add Landry and you have Dawson Knox, those guys, the Bills are going to be right in the mix. The AFC is so loaded, man. So loaded. It's so crazy to think, like, who can come out of the AFC. Just getting out of the AFC West is a bitch, right? And now the Bills in the market for another receiver, like, god damn, dude. God damn.
Yeah, Vinny's bringing up a good point. I'm not sure OBJ is even going to be back.
You're right. I mean,
like,
from what we've read, he might not be ready for the season at all.
You're seeing certain guys like a Gallup. When did he tear his ACL?
In the playoffs.
Gallup did?
Yeah. In the Niner game. January.
They're talking about him being back, ready to go. So
here's the thing, and I went off on a couple people on Twitter about this. First of all, you're all not doctors. That's one. Second of all, if it took me, average Joe Blow, to get back into the ring, it took me 9 months, 10 months, right? And I was able to fully function with a new ACL, right? 10 months for my vegetarian chubby self, right? To get back in the ring. Don't you think that the modern medicine is going to get these guys right in like 6-7 months? We watched Cam Akers tear his Achilles and play in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's certain guys heal differently.
So let's all pump the brakes.
The problem is Odell already tore this ACL.
Correct.
So
that's an Odell thing. I'm talking about Gallup.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
But yeah, look, guys come back quick. Jameis Winston looks like he's ready to go right now. He tore his ACL in week 4,
right?
Week 5.
Right.
So certain guys, but then you get a guy like Bakhtiari who he tore his ACL in the playoffs last year and he wasn't back until week 18 this year.
Right.
And even then he wasn't fully right yet. So
it took 18 weeks.
Yeah,
man, that's crazy.
18 weeks. It took a full year.
True. Very true. Okay. More Connor news. 1.7 took a 1 year, turned it into this. That's awesome. I mean, that is the news for Connor. He took a $1.75 million deal.
That like an ACL at wideout is a little more important, and I'm not trying to diminish what you were doing in the ring, but when you're playing wideout in the NFL, your ACL is, you're relying on it a little bit more than when you're, double axe handling Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Wow.
He's 100% diminishing what you did in the ring.
I know. It's okay.
No,
that's fine.
I'm trying to just highlight how hard it is.
I'm not, and I think somebody else said it yesterday where I was like, I'm not a world-class athlete. Somebody on Twitter was like, but yeah, if you're a pro wrestler, you are. No, I wasn't. Like, even at the age of 27, 28, when I got into the business, like, I felt like I was old and not as in shape as the rest of the guys. Like, the guys that I came up with, bro, you'll know because you're an AEW guy. Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, Maxwell, Jacob Freeman. They all trained under the same guys. As soon as they walked into the room, I was like, fuck this. Like, I'm not going to be as good as those guys. That is for sure, right? Just happens that way. It is what it is. Benjamin Albright coming in saying, would not be surprised if Jarvis Landry lands in Buffalo. So that's two people saying Buffalo is linked to Jarvis Landry. Dave, you did it and came back better than ever, jumping everybody's bones, fear the spear. I did. I came back, had a nice little rumble pop. That was fun. Yeah, so that's that. So we await things, not no dead air or anything like that. We do await things to happen within the tampering thing. That's another email. So we'll see.
There's also reports out there that the teams following Deshaun Watson have hired like private investigators to follow him around, which understandable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully wherever he goes, though, they get him a good
We got in
masseuse.
Major League Baseball.
You know?
Anything popping off?
Nothing in baseball. McAfee show has a get the bag graphic where they just drive this money truck across the screen with the new update. Man, do we need some editors. But anyway, so let's see. Amazon. That's Amazon. That's not any kind of news. So yeah, so that's where we're at. But yeah, nothing on the baseball front, nothing on the Yankees front right now, as they're apparently there was a market for Matt Olson, and I just don't see that being a thing right now. And it is what it is with that. We'll see what happens. Cardinals. All right, so here's the stats on the James Conner deal. He gets 3 years, $21 million. That could be maximum 25.5, includes 13 million of fully guaranteed money. This guy took a 1-year deal, turned it into that. Congratulations to James Conner. That's how you do it. You go in there and you prove it. You get it done. You prove your worth, and now you get a 3-year deal worth almost $25 million. So good for that, and good for James Conner. So those are the specifics on that. We got Mike Kliss coming in. Multiple teams showing interest for Randy Gregory, and the Broncos are being, on that as well. Peter Schaefer comes in on that one and backs that up too. So unfortunately, Chris. Yeah, pain we know about Zadarius Smith. That was early in the game. No, I'm not discrediting your report here, but that's an old report. So, Kyle coming in saying, new drinking game. Take a shot every time Baby Gap mentions Jameis Winston's Instagram account. You're just, I'm the one. You're on my case for jumping bones, and you love this guy.
I didn't even mention his Instagram account once. I said he looks ready to come back from ACL surgery.
How did you find out about that?
I don't know. Bleacher
His
Report.
Instagram account.
No. Bleacher Report.
Oh man.
Through his Instagram account or his Twitter.
I'm still surprised about this.
You guys wouldn't jump Jameis's bones?
I would.
Of all people.
I would. Wait, whatever they did with the fingers.
Yeah.
Gross. Bailey coming in. I can't see that comment, so I'm just going to bring it up on screen just in case it's good. A few weeks ago, I was wrong about the Mahomes marriage. Not anymore. He's officially trapped. Yeah. Mahomes' brother, Jackson Mahomes' brother got married yesterday, by the way. He's screwed. That's done. No, that's signed, sealed, and delivered, and unfortunately now she takes half the money. That's how it works, folks. Let's see here. Anything else coming here? We didn't talk enough. Oh, we didn't cover it at all, actually. Gooch. Mr. Cousins coming back to Minnesota.
See, this is one of those situations where Dave wasn't paying attention.
Oh, you talked about this?
I definitely brought up. Did I bring up Kirk Cousins? Were you sure?
100% you didn't.
Comments.
I have no choice.
Comments.
No,
You were in the same fucking boat, bro. You were looking down the entire time
But
too. Guys, did I bring up Kirk Cousins in this episode at all?
Now he's going he's going to poll the audience, ladies and gentlemen, see if Kirk Cousins was brought up. But if we what? Who said it?
You didn't talk about the extension, I don't think, because I wrote notes down waiting for you to bring it up.
Okay,
So.
now Scoop, what did I talk about when I brought up Kirk Cousins?
I didn't see Scoop. What are you talking about?
Scoop-a-loop. He did.
I'm behind on the comments. He did. He said, okay. And that just popped up.
100% went over.
You get the
Cousins.
NFL notifications faster. You get the comments faster. It's all bullshit.
Well, I'll say one thing about that Kirk Cousins thing is they're
Talking
saying
to the mic.
that, oh, my bad. Since 2016, money-wise, Kirk Cousins has made $158.9 million, and guess who's second? Aaron Rodgers at 151.7.
All right.
So think how much money Kirk Cousins has made and can't win on Monday Night Football.
And there was somebody in the comments that asked before if the Dak being the black Andy Dalton comment was true. It
Are
is
you
not
out of your
true.
mind?
It is not true. The actual comment was he is the black Kirk Cousins. So that is the comment.
That is still not true.
That is also not true.
yeah,
But
but
yes, it
hilarious
was a very, very
nonetheless.
funny joke. Nonetheless.
Definitely.
Nonetheless.
How many times can you say nonetheless? James Conner, there's a lot of
If we're just going to start
we got-
recycling the news, it's like, guys, I heard James Conner signed an extension today for the third time. Chase Edmonds.
Hey, by the way, did you know James Conner got a deal?
I'm looking at these baseball signings, and there's really not much going on.
Nothing.
Jay signed Kikuchi, 3-year deal.
Who?
The Japanese lefty from Seattle.
I thought he said you, like Gucci.
No, I would never sign for the fucking Canadian Blue Jays, dude. Not a fucking chance.
You fucking would, dude.
Absolutely
Yes,
not.
you would. If somebody
know
came
why?
in right
No, I
now and said,
wouldn't.
"Here's a contract, go play for the Canadian Blue Jays,"
I would be like, no, if the Blue Jays want me, I'm sure someone else does too. And I would turn down the contract. Is that my only opportunity?
You
It's
are
like, come
out of
on,
your mind,
They
bro.
didn't draft me. They're offering me a deal.
Oh my goodness.
And if they did draft me, I would just use my star power to get out of it. Come on now.
Star power. Okay, cool. Back to more people are following up with the news about Tatis out 3 months. We knew this. If you're just joining us, Fernando Tatis breaks his wrist, fractures his wrist. He'll be out for 3 months. He does apparently require surgery, so we'll see about that. Again, if you're watching this video, please like the video as we are way over time here. Usually we do a show if you're first and you're new to us. We do a show from 11 to 12. It usually ends around 12
I'm
o'clock.
seeing World Series MVP Jorge Soler might be on his way to the Dodgers. Go
Oh my
figure.
God, man. What do they got? Unlimited funds out there?
Yeah,
Who owns the Dodgers?
Exactly what
Who
they
owns
have.
the Dodgers?
Is it
Magic
like,
Johnson?
Is it like a group? It's a bunch of
group-
people.
It's
Yeah.
a group headed by,
Magic Johnson?
I would say, like whoever owns the Lakers. I have no fucking clue.
Oh, all right. Well, because I'm
but
trying to figure it out.
Quite possibly, and Magic Johnson definitely has a ton to do with what's going on in LA. Because ever since Magic Johnson got on board, there is
Mhm.
when they just said, "Fuck it, we're buying everything."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Doesn't Magic Johnson own like Starbucks or something crazy like a Lowe's Theater? Something. Magic Johnson got a lot of money in the business world.
Do you know one of my favorite non-Yankees also got a big deal with the White Sox, and that's the legend that is Joe Kelly. Mr.
Yeah.
Boo Boo Lip himself got a 3-year deal. He makes $7 million this year, 9.
He went from like here to here to here because I hated him.
I mean, yeah, he's a
hated
Red
him
Sox.
on
Why would you
Red
like
Sox.
him? But
Him
then
and,
after
was
his
it
shit with the
Tyler-
Boo Boo Lip,
What was it?
great.
Who was the guy that charged him out? Phillips? Tyler? No.
In what regard? That
Who was
one?
the first baseman that played for the Yankees a couple years ago and got into a
Tyler
brawl?
Austin,
Tyler
316.
Austin, there you
What?
go.
Tyler Austin, 316. And I just, that's another thing that I brought up to Scoop and Vinny. I said, guys, if you really want to go out Wednesday, it's great. But just remember, it's 316 on Wednesday. And I celebrate 316 more than I celebrate St. Patrick's Day. 316. So why'd you chug a beer?
Okay, so
As you
Bailey's
should.
asking a question here.
What's
He's
up?
an Angels fan. He wants to know what we think will be the case with the Angels this season. I think the Angels have a really good lineup, and Ohtani getting a little more protection. Syndergaard, we'll see what his arm is like, but if Syndergaard could be a little bit close to what he was back in the day, then they have I think they're still a pitcher away though. They need one of these top flight pitchers. Bailey, if you don't mind just refreshing, because baseball has been, and definitely West Coast baseball is definitely
Aha.
far from my mind right now.
Mike Garafolo coming in. Good news for
Ohtani and Syndergaard, though, is a solid 1-2.
little Packer news here.
Go ahead.
They are in on Jarvis Landry right now.
Yeah, of
So
course they
the market is a 3-team race all of a sudden. Chiefs, Bills, Packers interested in Jarvis Landry. Now, if they wanted Jarvis Landry, don't you think they could have gave like a 6th or 5th or something like that for him just to grab him? You know, like why wait? Why go into a bidding war all of a sudden?
Because, like, are they in on him?
I don't know. I'm just,
And
it
is it a
says
bidding,
they are.
Is it a bidding war? Like, all this is just news. His agent could be calling people and being like, yo, drop this news story, drop this news story. A
Mm.
lot of it is smoke and mirrors. Right now, much like the draft, you can't really get him. Some of it's true because you have to take, and it's being reported. So we doing what we're doing, we have to bring it up. But it's our job to kind of cut through some of the bullshit. And Gooch, you guys still...
What happened?
I don't know. I'm just reading a comment. But yeah, you got to cut through the bullshit. And what we're doing here is kind of just deciphering what some of these things might be. Obviously, when we're seeing the Packers are in on Von Miller, the Packers are in on Jarvis Landry. A lot of this other stuff, too, is like if they miss out on this guy, they'll get this guy. You see teams like Denver in on Zadarius Smith or in on this pass
Randy
rusher,
Gregory.
Randy Gregory. Well, that's if they miss out on Von Miller. So it's like if they get Von Miller, then they're out on all those guys. But you gotta open negotiations just in case.
Right.
So
100%.
there could be interest, but it could be Plan C interest. Whereas like they missed out on their first two guys, much like where you give the Broncos credit because they had Plan A and Plan B, and Plan A was Rodgers and Plan B was Wilson, and they executed.
Aaron Lazard, still a Packer?
Yeah.
So he's under contract.
Yeah.
So right now, is he wide receiver 2, if you think about it, and Cobb is 3? Cobb is gone.
I mean,
Cobb is not resigned.
to me, I feel like Lazard.
Wait, Cobb is contracted, no?
Cobb is contracted.
All right, so you have 3 right now.
Yeah.
Are you confident and comfortable going into the league like that?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so you want somebody. All right, good.
Absolutely not. Confident and comfortable. Do what you got to do, but health is always a factor. And as of now, Devontae's not even playing under the tag. So
And not for nothing, another name to keep your eye on. Whoa, here we go. There's a massive cut out of the Panthers. They're cutting AJ Bouye. 3.4 salary space. Bouye is now on the free agent market. That's coming from Dove Kleiman, Field Yates, and Ari Merlov all in a row. That one all came out there. So now there's another cornerback in the market right now to go along with guys like, I believe Gilmore was not re-signed. Is that right? Is he a free agent?
Out. Yeah,
he's done too.
unrestricted.
So the free agent market is up in cornerbacks. Yep. So here comes everybody with the former Bronco.
And you know what nobody's ever mentioned, or maybe they did. I just haven't heard it. The whole Gilmore situation. I think maybe I mentioned it a couple weeks back where I was very surprised to see the Patriots move off of J.C. Jackson and not franchise tag him and bring him back. Would it surprise anybody if the Patriots re-signed Gilmore?
No.
And that's the reason why they didn't franchise tag J.C. Jackson.
And what did they get? What was the compensation for that?
A second.
So they imagine getting a second and then getting it back a year later.
A second and
Yeah,
I'm pretty
but
sure
whatever.
second
You know what I mean? Like
that's
that's a big deal. Oh boy. So if you guys are watching this video right now, do me a favor, go on Twitter, share the link out to people, tell them that there's live coverage of things that are happening in the NFL as it breaks, and baseball. Don't get me wrong, we're not discrediting baseball, but there's just nothing that's happening. Teams are reporting to their respective camps right now, and there's a shit ton of free agents still available in both leagues. So I still can't get over the fact that there's so much, there's so many guys out there searching for a home as camps open. It's crazy to me. So there's a confirmation saying that the Packers are in on Jarvis Landry. That's a thing. We knew that already. So any teams need a corner. AJ is pretty goddamn good. He's probably not going to come he won't come with the same price tag as a guy like a JC Jackson. JC Jackson is on top of the world right now. He can sign wherever he wants, and he's probably going to get the bag.
I feel like the 49ers are probably losing their corner, right?
Barrett? No. What's his name?
Carmichael was his name.
I didn't know.
Fuck. Either way, he's one of the top corners that are available. And now that I feel like Bouye is a prime fit to maybe replace the guy that they're about to lose.
Him going to a contender would be awesome. Let's see here. Some Zach Britton news from the Yankees says that pitching this year is a possibility if everything goes to plan, hopefully in the cards for me. So Britton's coming off an injury, and obviously he won't be pitching right off the rip. We'll see about that. Yeah, there's a couple people retweeting and talking about this AJ Bouye release. That dude he just can't keep a job. He's been released more times than anybody I've seen. And he's good. So I don't know. Maybe he's just not a locker room guy. I don't know. I can't make the assumption. I don't know. But we'll see.
Why can't I see this?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the corner on the 49ers.
I thought it was like something Verrett.
He
Could be
is
wrong.
on them.
So I had at least one name, right?
It is Verrett.
Oh my God.
Wow, they really upped this quick.
Hearing that the Guardians and Brett Gardner have a 2-year deal in place.
Awesome. Good for Brett Gardner.
No, you know what? I'm not even going to buy this right now. I'm not buying. I'm sorry. I'm not buying this. When somebody doesn't have a following all of a sudden, like I'm not about to just get all over it.
Don't big time this poor fella. Maybe he
200 followers.
Hey man,
Fuck out of here.
I could think of a time maybe about a month or two ago where we had something regarding a very similar situation. It wasn't the Guardians, but it was the other formerly racist team named the Cleveland Indians.
So apparently, the Jets and the Jaguars both had offers for James Conner. James Conner turned them down and returned to the Jaguars. I mean the Cardinals. So interesting to see that the Jets are trying to.
Shocker.
Smart man.
Yeah,
Well,
why would he want to go either place?
I don't know. I mean, imagine pairing a James Conner with a Michael Carter. Like, that's a good running tandem. Michael Carter came on at the end of the year. I'm excited for the Jets.
Imagine having to be like, they call the play and it's going to you, and you're like,
Stephen Hairston, do not
There's no
disregard
offensive line.
any of the Brett
no,
Gardner
the Jets
news
actually
right
have
now.
a decent offensive line in the making.
Formerly
what were the
Ravens
fucking Jaguars
organization.
going to do with a running back again?
They got too many,
They
right?
got James Robinson. They got
Well, Robinson's hurt, right?
They got the kid from Clemson and Anthony, right? He got hurt. too.
Travis Etienne,
Mhm.
LSU.
No, Clemson.
Man, oh man, there's a lot of the Gregory stuff. Like I said, this is Kyler Murray putting out on Twitter he's going to miss Chase Edmonds. So there you go. Kyler Murray saying his goodbyes to his running back or one of his running backs. We'll see. We'll see what happens as we are still live here. Thank you guys again for joining us. Every day we go live from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So be sure to subscribe to the podcast network. We're doing giveaways this week with some of the merch for our Rutgers wrestlers heading into nationals. So be sure to check that out. Also today, recording later on, we'll have Jimmy Palumbo recording. We'll have the Chop Heads Combat Sports recording. We'll get more into the Scott Hall stuff, which it's an unfortunate turn of events for him. We'll talk about the UFC card. We'll talk about my the AAA event that went down over the weekend. That was a lot of fun, which, by the way, some of those guys I never heard of, but I wish I did. I wish I knew who they were prior to that night, because boy, oh boy, they're incredible stuff. Jason Verrett is basically coming in, Bailey coming in saying that. Etienne Robinson, yeah, I can't imagine the Jaguars being in a running back market, but then again, nothing surprises me with that team. So yeah, so we'll see what happens. So nothing else as of right now.
I gotta piss.
Go ahead. It's just like, go ahead, man. That's what live shows are all about. I think Geno Smith might be on the move. Anybody gives a shit, but that might be a thing.
Eli Manning's fucking
Yeah.
guy that took Eli's spot.
Right. The guy.
Eli started 3,000 games in a row. They were like, you know what? Who cares? They were the most racist organization ever.
Unbelievable. Fly ball caught. I'm by myself now. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us here today as we're doing a free agency frenzy special. There's a lot of things going down right now, and obviously there's multiple teams in the mix for Jarvis Landry services all of a sudden. So that could be a thing. We'll see if that happens, but we're Sturch and Gooch here on the Chop Sports Daily. Be sure to hit the little bell too while you're at it. That gives you a notification when we do go live, and we will be going live a lot more than usual. Not specifically today. If things go down today, yes, we hit live, we go. But we're going to try to keep giving you guys more content as we go forward with different shows and different scenarios and stuff. So we appreciate you being with us, hanging with us. You literally don't have to go to Twitter or anything like that. We're on every single notable account. Let me know when Kyler Murray grows 5'7". So a little short joke here coming from tall Chris Payne. Am I coming in on Chop Heads? I'll be home, but I'm in. We'll have to discuss. I don't know. Now that you're not coming, I thought you were coming here, so probably not.
We'll see. Maybe we could have a little segment.
How are we gonna? We all got to put headphones on during that conversation. That's the problem. So
It's not bad because we're not on air. Maybe not. We don't have three sets.
We'll
we actually do have them 3 headphones.
Yeah, but we all got to plug in there. But we all got to sit here, which I think we would, right? Me,
Yeah.
you, and Tommy.
Yeah.
Is Tommy's
We'll see.
belly
Scoop,
going to
maybe we'll
fit
work
in
it
this
out.
groove? It's going to be.
We had that made for Kyle. I think
And Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both the same size. How old is Marquez Vante? Why can't I say his freaking
Marquez
name today?
Valdez-Scantling.
How old is he?
He's off his rookie contract, so he's probably about 25, 26.
Scoop, I know you got the equipment. It's just this matter of being able to record with all of us listening, but we'll see.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, without Googling it, how tall is he, Dave?
5'9".
6'5".
Wow. I was off by 6 inches.
6'5".
7 inches.
So, when you look at him, it's like, wow, that's a receiver right there. He looks like he looks the part, but he has a drops issue. And for whatever reason, I mean, the Packers have liked him. He's definitely been a guy that Aaron Rodgers has favored a little bit, but definitely a deep threat. And he's definitely a guy that his yards per catch is very high, always amongst the league leaders in yards per catch. So he's a big play threat, maybe in a different situation where he's getting a little more targets his way. He'll be better. But even in games where Devontae Adams was out, Marcus Valdez-Scantling hasn't really stepped up much. He's definitely more of a 2.
Or a 3. I say he's a 3.
But they're not. He's getting paid number 2 money where he goes.
Or wherever he goes, I'm sure.
He's a really, you know what he is? He's a really good number 3 on a contending team under his rookie deal. But now that he's going to get paid a little bit, you know, he very much like a Christian Kirk was with the Cardinals last year, even though I think that was his second deal.
The Athletics' Mike Sando reporting that 49ers could be waiting until training camp to trade Jimmy Garoppolo.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy G's a 49er next year still.
So you think it's done? He's out.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if he's still the quarterback of the 49ers.
Oh,
next
okay.
year.
So he doesn't.
I wouldn't. I'm like 50-50 on that. Actually, probably less than 50% that he still will be in San Francisco. But I think that there's a premium on starting caliber quarterbacks in the NFL. And especially in the 49ers case, whereas let's just say Trey Lance doesn't pan out to be the quarterback that they think he could be. It's a really nice stopgap to have a guy that could take you deep into playoffs like they've had with Jimmy G. And I know the Jimmy G contract isn't great, but being that they have Trey Lance on the rookie deal, they could afford that.
Correct.
You know, and the team is solid built team. It's not like they're far off. Obviously they're Jimmy G away, but is Trey Lance an upgrade over Jimmy G at this juncture? Maybe in some.
We haven't seen enough. We haven't seen enough out of him.
But there's no way that he could hand off as good as Jimmy G does.
The NFL, we got some more rumors here as far as the Christian Kirk market, as you just said, that there are 2 teams right now heading that one. And surprisingly enough, one of them is the Cleveland Browns. How does that make any sense?
Because
they just dropped Jarvis Landry to pick up Christian Kirk.
I think that they're looking at
and the other team is the Chicago Bears, by the way. So Silva,
they're looking
there's
at
your
youth
wide receiver.
Bit. I would say Christian Kirk is a better option at this point than Jarvis Landry at that contract amount as well. Landry was definitely making north of $10 million. If you're gonna, we're talking about which team now? They have money.
Chicago
has money. And what other team? There was another team that you're talking about.
The Browns.
The Browns have some money too, no?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Maybe not after that.
The Patriots have joined the MVS sweepstakes, according to some sources here out of New England. So maybe the Patriots trying to add another wide receiver to their repertoire.
Look, Kirk is not getting $15 million a year. He's looking for $15 million a year. But
There's no way.
He's not going to.
There's no way.
And if he does, God bless him. And poor team, poor fan base that does get it, because it's just too much. It's just simply too much. Especially with the amount of receivers that come out every year into the draft that are next to no money, and it's like 10 a year that come out and they're instantly productive.
You got something?
Do you think Belichick's going to spend more this year? You know, they spent the most they've ever spent last year.
No, that was like peak. Let's get back into the runnings, and they did for a while. You know what I mean? They didn't win the AFC East, but they, were there. They were in the mix towards the end. I mean,
hey, they were exciting, and I think that's what he wanted. But Josh McDaniels leaves.
Now it's a whole nother ballgame now.
So now what are you going to do now?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we'll see how that plays out.
Looking at teams that might regress a little bit, the Patriots might be one of those teams. Kyle talked about Arizona. I mean, Arizona and Cincinnati almost definitely looking like they're going to regress. I could see a regression from Cincinnati for sure. Arizona, I'm not really a believer in, but I think Arizona is going to take the league by storm again in the first half and then tail off in the second half. But I think the Patriots, man, people might have a little bit of fool's gold around Mac Jones. He wasn't asked to do much this year. I don't know if they're really improving the offense much, right? The Patriots, if they're in on a Marquez Valdez-Scantling, that you're going to have to do better than that. And from what I'm seeing, that they're kind of maybe even interested in moving off of N'Keal Harry, who wasn't.
That's coming on. I mean, his contract's almost up, I think. I mean, he's been around for a while.
They're willing to trade pretty much anybody on that roster, not named Mac Jones at this point.
Very true. Very true.
No news on Chandler Jones yet? I feel
nothing about that either.
I feel like when you see the Chandler Jones thing happen is when you'll see the Von Miller thing happen, or vice versa.
So according to Mary Kay Cabot, a Browns trade for Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson would include multiple first-round picks and Baker Mayfield and possibly more players than that. So they're looking to possibly be they're doing a whole now the Browns are in on the Zadarius Smith stuff. So the Browns are making some moves over here, and that's including Jarvis Landry's release. So they're doing their thing. I mean, they're doing their due diligence.
Out of all the names that I heard anybody mention in relation to the Browns right now, I feel like just making their pass rush, which is obviously their strength right now, is that defensive line, and adding a guy like Zadarius Smith. That's what you do, in my opinion, if you're the Browns. Just what you're already good at, make a lot better. And that'll be a formidable defense. I mean, who did they have last year on the opposite of Myles Garrett? Was it Clowney?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Clowney gone now, though?
Yes, because I remember
they're
looking
gonna
at
have to
him.
replace him if they want to keep that. But honestly, I would take Zadarius Smith over Clowney 10 times over. I
Wow.
just don't believe in Clowney's effort.
I'm very
I've ever watched him.
I'm very
not
interested
try
to
do
know,
better.
like, I feel like, and this is not like a bold take or anything like that, but I feel like the Deshaun Watson stuff is not over. I feel like this is something else is
Well,
gonna.
he definitely has 22 civil suits open right now against him. So no, it's definitely not over.
So
But
like that's so you know.
he's also yet to be suspended.
Thank
So
you.
there's probably going
Thank
to be
you.
a suspension looming, but because
You about to mortgage your future to have him for 10 games next
much
year?
like the criminal justice system, where let's say you get arrested, right, and you don't make bail, you have to sit in jail and you have to await trial. What ends up happening is I equate what he did last year to him sitting in jail awaiting trial. If they suspend him for 6 games, how could you not look at the situation and be like, well, he didn't play in all 16 last year or 17 last year?
Yeah, but you got paid.
Fair. That's a very fair point.
Yeah,
That's a fair point. But I think that there's got to be some type of leniency on the suspension. Whereas maybe they suspend him and he's fined a shitload of money, and that's how they levy the suspension, because you're definitely going to take some money from him. There's no question about that. But because he didn't play at all last year, there's got to be some type of way that his agent's going to be like, well, look, we already served that time. You want to fine us what you think is worthy and the game checks. They're not going to fine him $20 million. That's for goddamn sure.
No.
So that might be a lost cause there, but there's no way that if he gets suspended for 6 games that he's going to sit out 6 games.
Some news
No
from
way.
NFL Rumors Twitter. The Jaguars and the Lions are both working on a deal with Allen Robinson. So one of those teams might secure Allen Robinson.
Wow, Allen Robinson back where it
Back
all
to the
started.
Jaguars. Yeah, that
Did
was
this
it.
guy just pick a fucking destination that's going to work for him already? I mean, I feel so bad. He's had
That's your boy, man.
no,
Penn State.
I love Allen Robinson. He's been the only Bear that I've actually given credence to in my lifetime. So yeah, big Allen Robinson fan, but God damn it, man, go somewhere where you're going to be used properly. And if you're not going to be used properly, maybe you'll get some fucking wins out of the deal. God
As
damn.
of right now, he's got destination either. But so all right, so you're Allen Robinson, you're a free agent. What's the more preferred destination? Play with Trevor Lawrence or play with Jared Goff?
I'm going back to Jacksonville. I'm not going to Detroit to
All right.
cover point spreads but lose. I'm going to Jacksonville because at least it's Florida.
Albert Breer coming in. The Chiefs are working on a restructured deal for defensive end Frank Clark. Sides are uncertain whether they'll be able to get it done, but they're trying to stick with their boy. If not, he might be on the market as well. So that's another name to look from the edge. It's good to see some baseball stuff back, by the way, too. Like I'm looking at all these like highlights from guys in camp right now, which is just it's incredible. Thank God. Thank God we got baseball back. But yeah, so that's on that front. Allen Robinson, man, I feel bad. I really do.
Oh, we got Scoop asking, who's the producer now? Is that James Gandolfini? I guess you're giving James Gandolfini
Man,
Tony
I
Soprano
read it.
vibes.
He read it. Yeah, he's got the stream over there.
I read it.
You see? He's gonna fight you now, and you really want to mess with James Gandolfini right now? You really want to fucking around with Tony Soprano? Let's see here. Sources: Twins Athletics have discussed a trade proposal in recent days that would include starting pitcher going to Minnesota Sean Manaea or Frankie Montas is the top candidate included in the deal if it comes to fruition.
I guess Ashley's just back on now and saying, wait, what the fuck is happening? Because she had to dip out for a little bit. And we're
Ash,
still live.
yeah,
We're
welcome
still
to
live.
overtime. Welcome
We're doing
to
the extendo clip today.
the free agency frenzy. To those who are just joining us, yes, we usually go from 11 to 12. Today, we decided to go longer as things break. We're tired of missing shit. So today's the tampering period for the NFL started at about 12 o'clock. So we're about an hour in, believe it or not. That kind of went fast, honestly. We're already approaching the 1 o'clock hour. Do you have a scheduled time for Jimmy or no?
1:15.
He said that?
Well, like that's we agreed to go till we like 1, right?
Okay. Man, you know what's going to happen. Like, as soon as we say, all right, bye, everybody, like, something's going to break, and it's just going to be bad news bears. Let's see here.
Tatis said he has undecided whether he would get surgery.
Yeah, I'm reading that, too. Tatis not. Oh, baby, here we go. Here's your first domino to fall. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Hope you're watching, Ken Paulman. Your brand new quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. Mitchell Trubisky, ladies and gentlemen, has agreed to terms with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there is your boy. And I'm telling you, that was the big, to me, I know it's not a big splash, but knowing that we have Steeler representation within the Chop Sports group, that is a big deal. Mitch Trubisky, an agreement, 2-year deal with Mitch. So the Giants miss out on Mitch. Trubisky gets his shot.
They missed out on Mitch.
So I'm telling you right now, will there be an open quarterback competition in Pittsburgh?
Absolutely.
Between Mitch and Mason Rudolph?
Absolutely.
It has to be, right?
And Paulman's right there. Ugh.
Well, I mean, like, you're not going to bring in Mitch Trubisky to not compete for the job, and you expect him to win the job. He was the number 2 pick a couple years back, and let's be real about it. When everyone makes the jokes about the Watson and the Pat Mahomes situation, that was consensus across the board. There was nobody singing Pat Mahomes at number 2. They just simply weren't. Watson, you can make the case for, but Mitch Trubisky was consensus. Like, there was nobody talking shit about that pick when it happened. Now, in hindsight, it's the Bears. They botched it. And, you know, it's not up to consensus. It's up to the Bears to make the pick. They made the bad pick. But not a great situation in Chicago, right? He has won some games. And we talked about, I was proven wrong that he has at least won one big game, but it wasn't really much of him winning the big game. But yeah, I mean, it's I guess a decent fit in what they're trying to do. The next year's quarterback class, it puts them in a position where next year they'll probably still need a quarterback. And with the class being a lot better, they'll probably draft a quarterback next year. It's a stopgap option. They're going to be a run-first team like they've typically been. They're going to try and play good defense. So I get it. But I don't think it's going to take them very far this year.
So
he didn't get a fair shake in Chicago, and he goes to a way better defense in Pittsburgh than he had in Chicago.
Just remember, man, they traded up to get this guy. He was,
Chicago's defense in 2018 was really good, really good.
But is it as good as Pittsburgh's defense right now?
I would say I would say yeah. Like, at that point, that was the year that they traded for Khalil Mack. That was that was a big year for them. Was it 2018? Mack has been there. I don't know if it's even been that long. That might have been the year before they traded for Khalil Mack.
I mean, they got a high pick, and they were looking to get Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh anyway. But now they don't have to do that.
But at this point, I don't know that. That was the thing that everybody was saying because of the Pitt thing. But I don't know that there was ever real traction there based on what the Pittsburgh front office was thinking. That was more or less like it makes sense for them to go after the quarterback that's slated to be picked where they're picking. But I don't know that they liked him. You got to like the guy. And I don't know that they did like any of the quarterbacks because, I mean, it's pretty indicative now. I guess we'll see draft day. But put it this way. Signing Mitchell Trubisky, if they did like a quarterback, I don't think it has any bearing. What's the deal worth? How long is it?
No details have emerged. 2-year deal.
Yeah, so it's a 2-year deal. So it's not like it's a long-term thing. They will gladly add a quarterback in the draft if it presents itself in the right spot.
And I believe they're at like 17 or some shit, right? Or early 20.
I believe they pick right at 20.
They're a playoff team. So
yeah, they pick right at 20.
Yeah, so that'll according to Mark from Canada and saying Matt Nagy ruined Mitch's rep was he even the coach? Was he the coach?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, down the stretch, he definitely was. He might have had 2 head coaches there.
Stephen Harrison coming in saying Steelers have a damn good offense. I mean, look. I mean, do they though?
Nobody,
They
definitely have.
I like Frumuth.
Najee Harris,
Claypool is that guy.
Claypool's no joke. Deontay Johnson's no joke.
They're losing Juju more than likely.
Let's not talk about Najee Harris.
Oh my God! Why do they forget about Najee Harris? That's so dumb.
I think if their biggest liability is probably up front, but Najee Harris managed to put up decent amount of yards running behind that line.
So the quarterback depth chart right now in Pittsburgh is Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, and Dwayne Haskins. That is officially the depth chart.
We'll put it this way. Let's look at what Pittsburgh was doing throwing the football last year. Big Ben couldn't throw, right? But he also couldn't get out of his own way. At least with Mitch Trubisky, he's a solid running quarterback. This could be – I don't think that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is worse with Trubisky than it was with Big Ben. I think Big Ben was holding them hostage. I think Trubisky will still kind of not be great passing the football, but when he's asked to do very, very little, they're going to run the ball a lot. And he's at least able to scramble. So I think it's an improvement for their offense. Pittsburgh got better. It's just that they didn't get as good as they could have gotten had they went after one of these other guys. But as we see, the premium on quarterbacks, like Jimmy G, they clearly weren't interested in giving up what the 49ers want for Jimmy G, right? Understandable. Because Trubisky and Jimmy G, I feel like they're a Jace. Jimmy G just has had more playoff success, but Trubisky and Jimmy G are very similar. In fact, I think Trubisky brings a little more to the table with his legs.
Yeah, he can move.
Neither guy could throw. So we'll see. I think it does improve Pittsburgh as I'm thinking about it here. but still doesn't put them over the hump.
I just think this is a fantastic move for the Steelers. I mean, now, would you say that with a quarterback tandem that they have right now, Mitch and obviously Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins, does that put them now in the realm of best player available when it comes to 20, and they don't have to address that shit in the first round? Because that's going to be a very crowded
I don't think
room.
that they were ever in a position that they had to draft a quarterback in the first round. I think that
with Mason Rudolph as their quarterback, you don't think that was a need?
No, of course it was a need. Of course it was a need.
Like a franchise altering need is what I'm saying. Like you need that quarterback.
But there was no really good quarterback to take this year.
I
in
would
the
take
draft.
Jameis Winston. Maybe I would kick the tires on that.
I heard he has a great Instagram.
Yeah, his Instagram account is amazing. You should see his nipples when he like works out with nothing on. It's crazy.
Oh man.
But Ben does bring up a good point. Or Ken brings up a good point about Big Ben. Big Ben didn't play well in the first 3 quarters of games, but if you look at his fourth quarter this year, and I said this all season long, Big Ben plays winning football late in the games. For whatever reason, his big old ass
can't knock the
hobbled around
success,
enough.
you know.
Yeah, exactly. He I wouldn't say he carried them anywhere, but he did just enough at the right time, timely, good play down the stretch. He had a decent amount of fourth quarter comebacks and fourth quarter wins this year. And you don't expect Trubisky to be able to do that, but you know, given the opportunity with a better head coach, you know, Mike Tomlin, who I'm not the biggest Mike Tomlin fan. I think he's a little bit overrated, but he's a well-respected coach, and I think that he's proven to be a lot better than Matt Nagy. All right.
Correct.
So
100%. So that is the biggest splash of topic of conversation was Mitch Trubisky signing with the Steelers on a 2-year deal. So we're waiting for the numbers. I don't think they overspent. You know what I mean? Like I don't foresee that. I don't foresee that number coming out saying like, holy shit.
Everyone's got to take with a grain of salt the position he plays. What do you think would be overspending? I'm saying he's getting at least $12 million a year. At least, and probably upwards around 15.
Yeah, I want to say, I guarantee you, if I had, let's just play that game, right? Mitch Trubisky's deal is going to be 2 years, $30 million, $20 million guaranteed.
You really
I don't
think it's
think
gonna be that much?
I don't think it's going to be anywhere close to 20 million guaranteed. I think it might be like 5 million guaranteed.
Wow, you're really lowballing this guy.
Mitchell Trubisky isn't demanding a huge market.
Well, he had a market. Apparently, he had a market.
And he took the best offer. So clearly, he didn't have the biggest market, right? So he got a 2-year
the Steelers,
deal.
the Giants.
I don't think he took the best offer. I think he took the place he had the best chance to play.
Situation.
Yeah.
When it's Daniel Jones or Mason Rudolph, I'm like, you know what? I can beat out
maybe
Rudolph.
He's buying it on himself. But do you think that he turned down a 4-year deal somewhere else?
No, absolutely
Not
not.
with guaranteed money. I don't care what anybody says, because the league of opportunity, eventually you'll get it. If they're bringing you in as a free agent, they're not bringing you in to not compete, right? Now, where he's going to play and possibly play on a team that's going to win, you might take less money for that. But, you know, I'm not looking at Pittsburgh as necessarily a better option than some of these other teams that he might have had a chance to go to.
I just feel like he had the best opportunity to start in Pittsburgh. So that's why maybe he would just, jump on there.
Point being is this. He got market value. I don't think anywhere around the league he was going to get much more, even if it was a situation where he wasn't starting. Maybe another year, but with a team out after the 2 anyway, or 1, like you would imagine that it's going to be a thing where they're not going to have to be handcuffed to him. He's going to be a very expensive backup quarterback next year.
Yeah, my boy from 105.3 to fan Kevin Gray Jr. says, if Mike Tomlin gets the Steelers to the playoffs with Mitch Trubisky, induct Mike Tomlin into the Hall of Fame. Do you agree with that sentiment that he could take Mitch Trubisky and turn him into a playoff caliber quarterback and put not the blame, but the responsibility on Mike Tomlin?
It doesn't necessarily have to be a Mike Tomlin thing, because I don't anticipate Mike Tomlin developing anybody.
Hoyer got $3 million,
right?
so
Mike Tomlin's not going to develop any quarterbacks. But look, Mitch Trubisky, look at Ryan Tannehill out of Miami. He was in Miami and nobody thought he could play quarterback. He got started late at quarterback. Pretty sure he played receiver for most of his career, even in college at Texas Tech, and then makes a transition to quarterback. And it took him a little bit. He's still not great, but Ryan Tannehill is a solid quarterback in the league right now. And coming out of Miami, when he went to Tennessee, nobody was talking like Ryan Tannehill is going to be the guy. He's going to be a clear-cut starter in the league. And look at him now. So could it be possible that Trubisky gets turned around? Yeah, 100%. I don't know that it'll have much to do with Tomlin. I would look more towards their their quarterback's coach, their offensive coordinator, and guys like that are going to develop a quarterback.
Ken, that's exactly what I was going for. Is it Ken's coming in saying, Dave got me so excited with, and here's the first splash, and it's Mitch Trubisky. From all the stuff that you send me in my DMs about how, you're usually a straight shooter, and that's cool. But that one
he's
I
definitely
knew
a straight shooter. I don't necessarily always agree with what he's saying,
right.
But he definitely has his opinions, and he's not afraid to express them, which I personally, I find that refreshing when it comes to a lot of people, because even me, I suppress what I have to say sometimes because I'm afraid of the cancel culture.
Okay, so according to Todd Archer of ESPN, he covers the Cowboys, told that there's nothing yet with any potential trade involving Lyle Collins. If the Cowboys want to designate him as a post-June 1st cut, that could come as soon as Wednesday, which would open $10 million in room. If he's released, Collins could find a home quickly.
Wait. So just understanding the language of what you said, you said they could designate him as a post-June 1st cut.
You're allowed to do that.
So is this a loophole? So maybe the Packers did designate Darius Smith, and we just didn't read the language, and they actually are saving all 29 mil. And they just know, like, if you designate it, it's like it's happening, it's definitely happening. And
so why wouldn't
it's like a soft,
why wouldn't every team do that then?
I mean, maybe they do. It's just that,
or maybe they only have a certain amount.
It doesn't make headlines there, But to understand and to keep people not in the know as they exactly how NFL contracts works is by design. They don't want everybody to understand. They want this infighting about, oh my God, that's way too much money for this guy. Like, that shit's all clicks. It's all good stuff for their social medias. But what I'm getting at is, post June 1st, or if you cut a guy pre-June 1st, right? So
it's a lot of dead money.
My understanding that if you cut to Darius Smith pre-June 1st, that you only saved $17 million on the cap. But if you waited until after June 1st, you were off the hook entirely at $29 million. Now, if there's this new thing, which I'm only speculating based on how that was worded, that you could designate a guy for a June 1st cut prior to even today, and you say, look, we're cutting him June 1st. We want all that cap now. Is that actually the reason?
And it's like prorated?
And it's prorated? I'm not sure. I'm only speculating.
That's a massive loophole. Why wouldn't any and every team do that? That's, to me, that's the biggest loophole of them all. Like, we're cutting you, but it's a June 1st cut.
And I'm going to say this too. I fully expect a work stoppage in the NFL when this CBA is done, because I can't for the life of me figure out how NFL players ever agreed to this franchise tag shit. It's absurd to me.
You don't like franchise tags?
I love it as a fan because you get to keep your guy another year, but players hate it. Name me a guy that's played happily on his franchise tag. There's been like a couple, and here's the
Dak
reason
Prescott.
But Dak Prescott, fully understanding he's about to get paid. And like I said, it takes a very, very different type of player or person. And I don't even mean like an unselfish person. Everybody's selfish. Everybody's greedy when it comes to money. There's guys that when you have it, you might be less greedy with it. But when you don't have it, everybody wants it, right?
Right.
But what it takes is a guy that's just accepting of things. Like I have great acceptance in life where situations that come up where I might feel like I'm being wronged, but I just am like, it is what it is, and that's the way it is. So I accept it, and I don't fight the system. I think those are the players that necessarily play on the tag happily. It's just like it's too much bullshit to deal with. They just want to go practice and play football, and that's why they do it. But it's not because they're generous.
Right. We got some. I agree. They're not.
I was wondering if you actually were paying attention.
Dude, come on. Like, I'm not a total douche. I pay attention. I'm trying to multitask.
But you were reading.
Yes.
So
it's
fine.
Yeah. All I did was I grabbed the headline. The Bears are now in the free agency market. They're expected to sign Bengals defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi. So the big boy from Cincinnati signs with the Chicago Bears. Coming after you, Aaron Rodgers. How do you feel about that? He intends to sign with the Chicago Bears. So that's a big, big deal. So we'll see for that. So the Bears make themselves players in free agency as they grab defensive tackle, defensive line help. Because I believe they're losing Hicks, if I'm not mistaken. And they just traded away Khalil Mack. So we'll see.
How funny are people that complain like this guy wants too much money? I say let his ass go. It's like a star player in the NFL plays for your team. He puts in 6-7 years, and you're like, he wants too much money. I say let him go. And it's like, and then the team franchise tag said player, and then when he's unhappy about making 18 million when he's worth 30, then the fan base is like, bro, he's so greedy. Who gives a shit? He don't want to play. It's like it's all built-in narrative to have this like old school mentality behind following your team. And this is the narrative that the owners set in all sports with the lockout and the NFL. Like they want They want to set this narrative. They did it with the Rodgers last year with the Packers. Like they came out with all this bullshit. Now, a lot of this stuff came out to be true in terms of he wasn't happy there. But as far as the way he went about things, the Packers front office kind of, fucked Rodgers over in the way they released all these things. He wanted to keep everything in-house. The Packers were the ones leaking.
I feel like the Cowboys did that with Cooper.
Of course.
Just a lot of everybody hate Cooper because we're about to get rid of him.
And there's a lot of let's gauge how the fan base is going to feel about this. We're going to drop this headline because look, we're kicking the tires on maybe cutting this guy. We don't want to piss the fan base off too much. So let's spin it as to where he's greedy and he wants something. So you release a story and you say, hey, it's a lot of things happen in draft days. Like, oh, we have no interest in this guy. Or we're definitely going to trade down. And you just take offers, or you say you understand what I'm getting at.
Yes.
You just make it seem like you're interested. You bring in, it'd be like, oh, all the teams in my division scouts are over there. They need quarterbacks. Let's meet with the quarterbacks right in front of them. They don't want a quarterback. They're just meeting with them to make teams think they're going to draft one.
Why would a team or any organization hint first that they're going to release them unless they can trade them? Why would teams put that out in the media? Because that just debunks everything with value.
Well, that could be an agent that's saying, well, I don't want to get traded. I don't want my player to get traded. Let's diminish his trade value, right? By saying that if they don't trade him, they're going to release him anyway. So then any team that was like, oh, we're pretty high on the waiver wire. Like if they just release him, we'll get him. So it drives the trade value down, and then now the player gets.
So you think
released.
It's an agent play?
Oh, I don't know what it is. I'm saying in certain cases it can be. You just can never believe. That's why these anonymous sources got to go.
Right.
Seahawks have kept one of their own. Safety Quadre Diggs gets 3-year, $40 million.
All right.
Stay with Seattle.
Seattle keeping their
Keeping a guy.
Out
of all the guys, they're keeping a guy.
There's a lot of teams that are 3 years, $40 million. Wow. He's one of the best safeties in the league, honestly. Diggs is a really good safety, man. So that's a big deal there. Ready for this? Mitch Berg Steelers.
Did you just do that? Or
No, I saw it on McAfee. The Mitch Berg Steelers, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're going to have to refer to them as for I just wanted to show you this just because it's funny. That's really funny.
That's good.
That's good.
I
stuff.
don't. I don't support the current thing at all.
That's really funny. But yeah, so this. Oh,
in fact,
man.
I will look
the memes
for ways,
have the memes
I will
have
look
begun.
for ways at length to tear down the current thing
Mm.
in private, of course. And nobody knows what the current.
Here's the
thing
first look at Mitch Trubisky in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. Man, it just looks weird. He gets his 10. Wow, put some respect on Cordell Stewart's name. You don't take his number as a quarterback.
Have we seen if Russell Wilson's getting number 3 or Drew Lock is getting number 3 in Seattle yet?
I don't know.
Would you give away if you're Rob? I'm talking to you. So if you're Drew Lock and you go into Seattle, you were number 3, and then you go to Seattle. Do you ask for Russ's number right out of the gate?
If I'm Drew Lock, I ask for it. If I'm Seattle, I don't give it though.
You think Drew Lock has that kind of moxie that he's like, yo, give me my 3?
You're taking my 3.
I watched Drew Lock was like,
Yeah, but Drew Lock's been there for a cup of coffee. We're talking about a guy who won a Super Bowl.
Still
in
my
Seattle.
3.
Swag Daddy Drew Lock though. I don't know,
Oh, man.
I feel like look good, play good.
Play
Drew
good.
Lock
Hey,
on
my
favorite.
number.
You saw him rapping on the sidelines like he's down. Right? He gets the hood pass. Drew Lock definitely gets the hood
If
pass.
they give it to him, is it disrespectful? Is it disrespectful to Russell Wilson if they give Drew Lock number 3?
yes.
We'll see.
But I mean, wasn't trading Russell Wilson after saying that we weren't trading him disrespectful? But at the same time, he wanted out. So
That's
I
for
guess it's
the
respect.
past couple of years. There's been talk of him wanting out of there. So
We'll see.
All right.
Interesting. Things to keep on breaking as we go.
I can't wait to do Jimmy's episode now.
Is that official? Like you're gonna do? Like we got to cut the viewers off now, or
Well, he just texted me.
well, maybe he should tune into the show first. How about that?
I just seen the Mitch took 2.5.
Ravens have officially reached out to Zadarius Smith, which would be a reunion.
What did I say?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big for them.
I said that how many weeks ago?
Ding!
Start
One for
marking
Gooch.
these predictions now. What was my bold prediction today?
You said Josh Donaldson will not be on the Yankees before the season starts.
Come on, baby.
Can't take Drew Lock's
Come on,
number
baby.
according to Scoop. That's fantastic. Oh man. So look, obviously things are happening. We're an hour and 15 minutes into the tampering period. We've been on the air for 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's not that bad thinking about it. Like when you have content like this, you can keep going and going and going. And of course, for everybody who's stuck with us the entire time, thank you so much. Like the video, do that favor for us. Tell your friends about it. We've been live throughout this entire thing. I still have to edit the podcast, which I don't know how to even do that. I mean, this has just been a very long episode for the podcast listeners out there. But there's a lot of things to get to at Chop Sports today. We have a lot to get to business-wise. So, I mean, I don't know when you want to actually call this because there's just I know as soon as we hit go, like goodbye, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So here's what we're going to do.
We'll jump back on.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave everything as is right here, right? And we will literally just hit go live again with the same. Well, let's as soon as we hang up this, right? When we wrap this up, I'll change the thumbnail to I'll put a part 2 somewhere on the thumbnail.
Oh, you're going to do it?
Well, you have Jimmy's episode. So I was just going to try to help out a little bit. Dave's going to butcher the thumbnail, by the way.
No, I'm going to tell you, I'll change it. And by you doing it, you're going to be like, yo, Chris, do you mind?
Well, no, because I know you're busy now and you got to do your thing.
The thumbnail, I could probably figure out.
So any large news, I mean, look, Jimmy will be about an hour long, more than likely, I would hope.
Let's have Scoop saying we'll do a Chop Sports-a-thon where we just do 24 hours for charity with people calling in and making pledges.
Well, you could do that, and you can pledge by going to patreon.com right now /Chop Sports. Become a Patreon member. If you like what you've seen, if you like to join us every day and you want to help out Chop Sports, talking to you, Chris Payne, you can, and I'll count your sign as your donation here. Talk to me later, actually, Payne, about the potential new advertiser. But in any event, so as we kind of put a bow on the first 2 hours.
Follow my new Instagram account,
there you go.
Content Chris. I've made a total of 1 post, but I will be putting up some highlights and clips of this show and all shows going forward, as well as all graphic work that I do. And honestly, I feel like I'm a legendary meme share on Instagram.
You do well with the memes.
Be on the lookout because I'll just put them all in my story. This way, everybody can see them.
Yeah. So
Content Chris, and that's with 2 T's. Content Chris.
Oh, why'd you do that?
Because Dave, now if you had to guess why I would put
because
2 T's
Content Chris by itself was taken.
It was. And I checked
so I would
account.
have changed everything
I
instead of
the
2
account
T's. You
my
can't do like a
goal-
fucking underscore or something?
I would much rather have 2 T's in the underscores. And now you would learn this if you watched the amount of YouTube videos I've watched on building an Instagram account, even though I've gained a total of 13 followers across 14 accounts since Chop Sports started. So I don't actually know how to build an account. But
yeah, listen to him for
the
free.
Asian girl on the video that I watched told me to leave out dashes and periods out of your Instagram handle.
Well,
in order
she said
to make
it
more
it's got to be
aesthetically
true.
pleasing.
Aaron Judge visits the scoreboard. Oh, Aaron Judge just went yard in batting practice. That is nothing to get excited about.
Chris Payne's co-signing what I said. Dave, you need a second monitor. I agree with Gucci. It seems like you're not focused. Get with it, bro. You need some fucking Adderall or something.
Second monitor. I have 2 monitors here. I got one there, one there.
But a monitor that would be on the show, like right here, or maybe just
like this right here.
or maybe we get a monitor, which we do have.
It's right there.
Here, and we just got to figure out the camera and the lighting situation. This way, the show will be here. We'll be able to read everything here, but we'll be able to use this for our looking up things.
Are looking up things using our spirit fingers here.
Honestly, and if I was to do it the real way and how I type, it's like this.
Oh, you don't type well? You're not a good typer?
Bro, any meeting we ever had, you ever see I'm the pen and
you
paper
are the
guy?
pen and paper guy.
Born in
You are the pen and
82.
paper
I just
guy.
don't know how. The one thing I regret in life was not taking a typing course in high school. Anyway, I type like a fucking caveman. But my father texts with his fingertips, so that's worse. He's texting with anybody.
My stepmom
texting with the one.
her nails are always done, so it's always like
If you're texting with anything but your thumbs, you need to
thumb.
go.
I mean, not your thumb, your knuckle. So anyway, all right, we're gonna get out of here, and hopefully, I mean, look, we want things to happen. We hope things happen. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get back on here, do a round 2 of this. We'll get to Jimmy Palumbo's show. We'll get to Chop Heads MMA. Chop Heads Combat Sports. It's been a busy day already for Chop. So for Sturch and Gooch, and of course, Along for the ride, Rob. And thank you to Dina for producing the first hour of this show, which is just nuts to actually say. But thank you for joining us. Like the video, subscribe to the video. We appreciate you. And we'll probably see you one more time before this is all said and done to catch everybody up on the old free agent ski.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he did it.
That made him giggle.
Yeah. Take care, guys. We'll see you in a little bit.